Episode 38, end of an era. Hopefully this era your ass will be on time. This Negro can't be on time to save his damn life.
Make sure you go right into the mic, man.
Jesus. Always fucking late. Never start fucking on time. Niggas, why can't black people be on time and start on time? I just don't understand. Damn.
Hey man, you can't prepare for great. You gotta prepare for greatness, dog.
So hopefully the next era, your ass will be on time.
You can't rush greatness, man. All right. Welcome to the final episode. When by the time this get out, this will be the first episode of 2022. I'm sorry.
2021 all over again.
Well, whoop my head. Up. Woo. But this will be the final episode we record of 2021. It'll be the first episode of 2022. Another year. More bullshit. It's the end of an era, though. We actually might have been end of an era at the start of 2021, considering that was the end of the 2010s. Mm-hmm. Now we're in the 2020s. But this was the real fresh start because of all the shit going on. I think there's gonna be a lot of shakeup that happened out the gate. Starting January, stuff gonna shake up real quick. And I called this. I don't know what episode it was. I said January. I said that.
What's gonna happen in January?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. But anyway, man, let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're gonna talk about to get out the way is the madam
Ghislaine Maxwell.
So Maxwell been out here pimping, and she got caught up.
Pimping and hoeing like there's no tomorrow.
Jury finds Ghislaine Maxwell guilty of sex trafficking, a minor for Jeffrey Epstein, and 4 other charges. Now she was only hit with one of the minors. Now we know if you just glanced at this case, they only focused on a very short period of time. They didn't go after the entire time she knew him.
They actually try to make it seem like, she was just oblivious to what was going on.
She just did what he told her to do.
She was the fucking one running out the whole damn operation.
And that was the tricknology. That's what I should have named this episode, tricknology. Because they painted like she was his girlfriend. She was not his girlfriend. She was his handler. That picture they put out of her putting his foot in her breast.
She got a little shirt blouse open or whatever.
That was meant to create a narrative. Oh, they was together. They were a little couple. No, all right. Prosecutors argued Maxwell and Epstein conspired to set up a scheme to lure young girls into sexual relationships with Epstein from 1994 to 2004 in New York, Florida, New Mexico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Like I said, they did a great job. First off, because they made it a federal case, the media was able to use that as an excuse to not even talk about it. Now, we know whenever it's a federal case that's high profile, they'll find a way to leak information. They'll find a way to talk about it. They don't care if it's, they will find a way.
Somehow this time.
Sometimes, hey, we don't know anything.
Yeah.
We can't talk about it as often.
We know why. Because her ass wasn't meant to take this fall.
All the celebrities, all the politicians,
all
the
dignitaries,
all these people, and it's nothing. Mm-hmm. All we heard was the same 4 names: Trump, Clinton, what's his name? The other dude.
What other dude?
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrews.
That's the only person we heard about. And obviously we heard, the small people like Chris Tucker.
Oh, don't try to make his ass small. Don't try to
Naomi
make
Campbell.
His part seem small.
We're going to get to Chris Tucker.
I told you that Negro was in that damn shit.
Chill out. We're going to get to Chris Tucker. Naomi Campbell, those type of people who just said, oh, we were on the flight. And I'm going to say this.
Speaking of wigs.
Naomi Campbell might have a deeper, more sinister connection to this than Chris Tucker.
Here you go.
I can't help the facts.
She ain't got no deeper sinister.
No, she has, Chris Tucker was on a flight with him. Now, is it possible that he definitely went to his whatever, possibly, maybe. But we have on record. We have on record that she went multiple times. Mm-hmm. That she had multiple pictures with Ghislaine Maxwell, and
she probably was going there multiple times because they was.
Wait! And one of the girls that accused Epstein was in a picture with Naomi Campbell and Ghislaine Maxwell.
But what did she say? What did she say about Naomi Campbell though?
It's the same thing she said about Chris Tucker.
What?
They weren't involved.
Okay.
I'm not saying they were involved. I'm just saying she was around them a little more. Now it also could be because Naomi Campbell was into the modeling.
No.
Why?
She was an escort.
That too. But
allegedly.
See, hold on. How you try to make it seem like I'm smearing her when I'm actually coming with, soft shoe owner. You actually call a woman a prostitute. You act like I'm the one that's being.
Because nigga, I call it what it is.
So all right, whatever. So anyway, the jury found her guilty, obviously, of 4 counts. A jury in New York federal court has found Ghislaine Maxwell guilty. We talked about that. Maxwell, 60, was found guilty of 5 federal charges: sex trafficking of a minor, transporting a minor with the intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, and 3 related counts of conspiracy. She was acquitted of the charge of enticing a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. Now, what's the difference? Well, I don't understand how she get away with that. Okay, you found her guilty of sex trafficking a minor, transporting them, and engaging in it with the intent of engaging in it, but you let her get off with enticing them. What is, in the word enticing, they mean paying them? Like, what do they mean by enticing right there? Isn't that the same thing as transporting them somewhere? So wait, you didn't convince them to go, you just went with them. So Jeffrey Epstein, the one who convinced them. How did he get away with that? But Maxwell, who now faces up to 65 years in prison, showed no reaction when the verdicts were read. Judge Allison Nathan did not set a sentencing date. Of course she didn't, because she on her way to the tiny hats.
Yep.
She on her way to the
she
stone.
She going to go be right there with Jeffrey
Epstein.
That's where he's at, with the tiny hat.
And we don't mean heaven. But
he done dyed his hair blonde, probably had a face change.
You don't even know who he probably on TV now doing reporting.
Yep.
But the thing about this story is, once again, they made sure to focus on particular people because they didn't want this to leak out. They made sure to make it case closed. They didn't want nothing to leak out and to accidentally leak a name that wasn't already given. But the biggest name that should have been brought up was Leslie Wexner, the man who literally is he is the person who financed, allegedly financed Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was not a billionaire.
No,
he was not a billionaire.
He living in his house and
he gave him his house for free. Worth, was it $20 million, $40 million in New York? House. And guess where the house is located?
Behind the Pope.
Behind the Pope's ambassador's house. I think it's the ambassador Archbishop. How do you find a way to get Jeffrey Epstein in a house right behind the house that the Pope owns or the Catholic Church owns? Like right behind you.
Because they all connected.
And then no one talked about the fact that Donald Trump's Attorney General, Barr, his father back in the day, who was a part of the OSS, which was the predecessor to the CIA, hired Jeffrey Epstein at a very prestigious school in New York as a spiritual math teacher.
And he did not have
He did not have a degree. So you hear what I just said? The Attorney General Barr, his father, was a part of the CIA basically, and he was a dean at a high prestigious school in New York, and he is the one allegedly who hired Jeffrey Epstein at this school as a spiritual math teacher.
They're all connected.
So you wonder why they kind of let this go away. And obviously you got Alan Dershowitz. We can't even get into him because he will find a way to, he don't care how big of a, you say anything about him, he'll get your ass. We're going to leave him alone.
Moving on.
But there's so much stuff to talk about this, which obviously a lot of people think, allegedly, that her sister, and her brother are all Mossad. By the way, her brother and sister came to the trial, and you go, I wonder if you're there to really watch her asset more than your sister. Are you making sure things move as they're supposed to, or are you there to actually support a sister? I think it's probably the former.
They was there to make sure things have moved the way it's supposed to.
So the media didn't talk about this. You can look up all these companies and tell me who own them. I'm not going to bother going into it. So this case didn't surprise me as far as her being found guilty, because they had to find her guilty. I doubt she does any real prison time. Isn't there still a chance that she can cut a deal though, or is that too late?
No.
The sentencing hasn't happened.
The deal already been cut. Her ass is going back to Israel.
Did she read you think she's going to Israel or back to the Europe or something?
She's going to Israel.
You think so?
Yes. She's going to go be with Jeffrey Epstein.
Her boo. My boo.
I don't know if that's her boo, but
I mean, I'm pretty sure she has some type of relationship.
Oh yeah, they're bad. They definitely
Allegedly, she had a child.
What? I didn't know that part.
Allegedly, she has a child. One of the women who accused them said that they saw her pregnant. Now I don't know if she went through with a pregnancy, or if she ended it, or if they're hiding, allegedly she has a kid, or at least she was pregnant. Let me stop. Let me just say, allegedly she was pregnant at some point in time. Let me just say
Okay, because if you ain't seen no evidence of the kid, we can't say she got no kid.
yeah, I ain't gonna say she got a kid.
You see a lot of people pregnant,
no kid.
but no kid come out. So,
oh Lord. But obviously a person that was connected to this that we bothered to have an even reaction to was the black people involved, that being Chris Tucker and Naomi Campbell.
No
well,
edges.
Chris Tucker a while ago, did an interview on hold on, give me a second. On on the channel on YouTube. Maybe I should just say it's a show or so, a show on the internet.
If he wasn't on that flight with Jeffrey Epstein, maybe he could have shot it next Friday.
All Urban Central. It's a very popular YouTube channel. He did an interview with some people about his knowing of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, in this clip,
yeah, I want my apology.
when
I said that this was Chris Tucker. You said no. Is that
no, I
this
said
not the same?
allegedly. They said it's the white Chris Tucker. That's what I said.
No, but I've been saying for over a year it was Chris Tucker, and you kept
But we
denying
just did a
it.
video a few weeks ago called "Is Chris Tucker and Naomi Campbell Involved?"
That ain't got nothing to do with me asking for my apology.
But we
right
knew
now.
it then.
No.
In that video, no. In that video, we understood it was Chris Tucker.
Okay, it slipped by me, went over my head for some reason.
He's in the thumbnail.
You said it wasn't Chris Tucker. You put it on a white man.
Why did I say that when I put him in the thumbnail?
I'm talking about before then.
That was a month ago.
Nigga, you gonna give me my apology or not?
Ain't no apology to give.
Pride.
I said
You know what happens when you have pride?
Hey, I don't fall, man.
You fall.
I'm blessed and highly favored.
Mm-hmm.
But let me just show a little
And
bit.
you're still not gonna give me my apology.
Damn. I'm sorry, Travis, that you said something that I didn't believe at the time, but I agree with you before I even gave you this apology.
Don't it make your heart feel good when you let that pride go?
Okay, let's move on. So Chris Tucker went on this show and he talked. They asked him the question about traveling with Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Jackson. Now, I don't know.
What? Hold on. Now they throwing Michael Jackson in it?
He's separate.
Damn,
stories.
the nigga was already accused of being with kids.
Oh,
and now we got the Jeffrey Epstein on his belt too.
No, we got to stop that. Mike was found not guilty. Let me go ahead and do this right here. Hold on. All right.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. We flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different. That was a humanitarian trip to Africa, and
Yeah.
I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people. We was with a delegation, and I met him, and
my bad, y'all. I'm a damn dog. Let me rewind that back a little bit.
I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people. We was with a delegation, and I met him, and you don't know people what they do in their private lives, so yeah.
But tell me this, Chris. You was on this private plane, and you could tell that it was a private plane because they called it Lolita Express.
Hey,
That old man,
hold on.
that did his research and getting his ass too.
Hold on, OG. Like, I ain't playing with the bullshit. Look at the dude at the bottom left. You're like, damn, OG, you keep going.
Yeah, call his ass out on that shit. What the fuck was you doing on the plane with Jeffrey Epstein?
Oh,
we
buddy.
want to know.
Oh, buddy, about like, damn, OG, you gonna keep pressing the nigga already gave you?
Why did he say he was with Jeffrey Epstein?
He said he was on a trip to Africa. It was a trip to some type of humanitarian.
They was over there getting the Africans.
It wasn't the Haitians this time, so the Haitian kids. So. It's not funny. It's messed up. So.
No, it's not funny. We're not making mockery.
No, I'm making sure it cleared it up when I'm talking. People understand it's not a joke. They go after we know for a fact they said on his islands they used to bring what they call brown kids, which was the Haitian kids, and a lot of those kids are in severe poverty and situations.
Oh, they weren't called black. They were called brown.
That's what the words they use. Brown kids. There was a story I heard about a guy whose daughter is into the humanitarian thing, and he said his daughter was on a trip to South America in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that, some South American country. And he said if you look at late nights in the water, deep in the water, you would see these yachts, and you'll see these small little boats with kids on them driving to the yacht
In Brazil?
in South America. I can't remember what country it was. And he was making the point that trafficking of these kids is normal. Like you'll see some kids get put on the little boat and sent out to the yacht, and you'll never see the kids again.
Why in the world would you want to?
And we're not even because it's just
sick.
Oh yeah, it was a private plane. Yes. Oh yes.
But wait a minute.
Now I have to ask the question. I don't like to do this to the brother, but is he doing this joking as a defense mechanism for a very stressful question he getting asked right now?
Yes, he is.
Is he
I'm
trying
gonna
to
do it to the brother. Yes, he is.
Is he?
And this old man ain't letting up on him.
Yeah, he definitely on his ass.
You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No.
It ain't really funny,
I
y'all.
don't know where that thing at.
You know, we all know where it's at. Come on now. We
Now
know
you
it's in the version.
lying.
Now, see, hold on. See, he just lied. He just went to the extreme. Whenever
We
somebody,
you saw people would put the drones on YouTube and everything.
now, you remember, there's a thing when you know people lying, when they go to the extreme in their answer.
Yeah.
Like, if you ask somebody, have you ever taken steroids? You have to athlete. Have you ever taken steroids? And they go, I've never taken steroids. I would never take steroids. Like, all you had to do was say, no, I don't take steroids. When they give an extreme answer, when him saying, I don't even know what an island is, y'all don't look too good.
That laugh is fake
No,
too.
no.
This ain't really funny.
I don't think.
She
Hey,
said the plane was enough.
And the little girl, she kind of brought it
Damn.
back. Hey, I don't know if her granddad, she brought it right back. Like, the plane is enough.
She got it on her.
I said little girl. I don't know how old she is, but she seemed kind of young. I don't know.
Yeah.
we was going to Africa to save lives.
All right, speaking of the thing,
He had a that
Whoa, 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 whoa,
little
whoa.
girl put fire on his ass right there. He had to come back. Like,
So Jeffrey Epstein was doing all these things, but he was still doing humanitarian
that's
work.
usually the cover. They use those humanitarian crisis things to get into countries so that they can kidnap these children. This is all alleged to kidnap these children so that that's what I'm saying. Like, every person that came out against Epstein in this case was 17, 18 when this happened. And yes, it's underage, but in some states 16 is of age. But he was trafficking these girls, but they didn't talk about the 13, 12, and younger.
5,
We know that existed. And they just, these
4.
names never were brought up. There's alleged that there were pictures they found in Jeffrey Epstein's home, all type of audio files, thousands. So how the hell you get thousands of girls, but only like 8 or 10 of them are talked about? Where are these other hundreds of little girls? And we're not talking about no teenagers. You're not talking about troubled youth. We're talking about,
Because they can't expose everything.
yeah, I mean, it was a honeypot operation, obviously. They were using this to get dirt on politicians and celebrities and stuff so they can get stuff passed. That's why, if you look it up, every bill that ever gets put in Congress that benefits a certain country, it gets passed. No question, no negative votes.
All you got to do is go watch the show House of Cards.
Yeah. It amazed me how we watched that show.
And everything has come
And then
to
when
light.
Trump got it was just like, everything was just there. Like, this is literally, the TV show is just damn what's going on in real life.
Telling you, that's why damn she had to get rid of the show Scandal.
Yeah, she said,
Because Trump
you just top in the damn show.
like, I'm way more entertaining than this show is.
Nobody-
And no, Rosa is not
yeah, she would be. She would be the fixer.
no, Rosa is not the fixer.
She's the fixer.
you actually had, okay, speaking of some controversial things, you were there when Kanye said George Bush doesn't care about black people,
I
correct?
sure was, man.
What
So we tend to forget he was the person standing next to him and what's the white guy name? Myers.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, him. From
Go Austin Powers.
Austin Powers. He was standing,
Mike Myers.
Yeah, Mike Myers was the one standing next to Kanye. And when Kanye said it was like, okay. They had to go back to Chris Tucker. He was like, okay. But black people at home was like, yeah, Kanye, yeah. Now
Motherfucker messing with my Medicaid.
now it's like Kanye.
was going on through your head when
Go ahead.
No, I ain't gonna say nothing.
I'm not going to move on from this now. Move on to the next time. What you about to say?
No, I'm not gonna say anything about Mr. Kanye West.
Oh, he what's that song he put out? Gold digger. Oh man, how much art imitates life.
Yep.
But
Moving
yeah,
along.
yeah, we move from this. Now speaking of Chris Tucker, another thing that came into the news recently. Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta show one more video. This was the guy who's coming to the defense of Chris Tucker, and because they were saying how they believe he was unfairly being allegations were being leveled against him. So I'm gonna show this clip of a girl who accused Epstein, who made the point to say Chris Tucker did nothing wrong or anything like that. She absolved him of any wrongdoing. Let me show that clip.
That maybe just wasn't going to happen anymore. But after the Africa trip, the abuse started all over again, and it never stopped after that.
I have to ask the question, was that fact she was talking or narrative? I'm sorry, we got to question this stuff. Because even the witnesses they chose to allow seem to be handpicked.
Exactly.
So was she giving facts right there, or was she spreading a narrative of this is how things went and this is what you should know, and let's move forward to the real bad people, which is just Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. These are the only bad people in the situation. No need to bring anyone else up. I ain't saying the brother guilty, but
listen, brother, let's drop that shit. I believe that the truth ain't been told on what happened, but if the young lady said that he did nothing, then we have to go off the fact that she said he did nothing.
All right.
If something happened, it will be brought to the light.
Oh, it will be brought to the light at some point. Can't get away forever.
It always comes back to you.
The next thing that popped up, because people was asking questions of Ice Cube about the classic movie Friday. People made the allegation, because Faizon Love came out and made some comments about how much money he made on the show. We saw AJ Johnson a few months ago before he passed say that he turned down going back because the money wasn't. A matter of fact, he said he was offered to be in the next movie, but he never got in it. But it was a handshake deal. It wasn't in contract or nothing, so he had to take the L. And we saw how AJ, rest in peace to the brother. We saw how disconnected he was from Debo dying. He kind of was ripping it.
Yeah, he was. He did.
Go back to that video. I think it was it Vlad?
No, that was on Was that on Comedy High?
That was Vlad TV.
Oh, Vlad TV.
When Debo died, I call him Debo. I know it's not his real name. And when Debo died, he kind of was joking on the dude's death, like he don't give a damn. And it turns out when AJ Johnson died, allegedly none of the cast of Friday even bothered to put any money down for his burial. And you go, damn, he didn't have enough money to bury himself.
Somebody had $6,000 or $7,000.
Apparently, allegedly, none of them gave no money. I don't know if that's true, but
that's terrible.
It seemed like a lot of that cast didn't end on the best
terms.
Now it seemed like the cast from the next one series, like Friday, next Friday, Friday after next, it was fine. It was just that first cast, because I think that what happened is they did this movie for a couple dollars, and this movie makes so much money.
It's a culture.
It's a culture shifting. It's an icon in the community.
Yeah,
and they didn't get extra money from it. They just got what they were paid. So now they got a name connected to this movie, who they'll always be that character, but they ain't got the money from being that character.
Yeah.
So if you Faizon Love, you big worm, but I'm not paid
like that.
As high as that character is in our community, as far as how much we reference it, he's not paid equal to that importance of that character.
Nope.
Even though he wasn't really complaining about it, he was just talking facts. Like, I only got paid $2,500. But back to this. Ice Cube claims Chris Tucker turned down $12 million for Friday sequel over religious reasons. Ice Cube clapped back at his fans who accused him of robbing actors who took part in his 1995 comedy Friday, which he wrote and starred in. Probably one of the more underrated writers and producers, by the way. Ice Cube. He gave us a couple of them things, so. But let me go ahead and show this. You see here, it said Ice Cube clapped back at his fans, which he wrote. We saw that while Chris Tucker was one of the movie's top billed stars, The now 52-year-old rapper admitted that Chris didn't want to take part in some of the movie's content due to his religious beliefs. Now, alleges because he said he didn't want to curse and smoke. But we know right after he did Friday,
He did Rush Hour.
he did Rush Hour where he cursed.
And there was some sexual.
It was a lot of sex.
It wasn't explicit, but there was some.
It was a scene where they went to was it China? That was 2. That was Rush Hour 2.
It's still.
Where he went to China and was picking
still was
women.
on his religious thing though.
He didn't
There
really
was
do
some
nothing on
scenes
screen.
that, as a Christian person, he wouldn't do.
But that wasn't there a scene where he was stopping the dude from smoking?
I
What's that
think
guy
so.
named was Don Cheadle, Kenny, Kung Fu Kenny. Yeah, the one who was dressed up like a kung fu guy, Don Cheadle. He was smoking.
I don't remember.
How you remember that?
Oh, you mean when he went to the
It was a
the bar or the
Yeah.
club something?
the pool.
And he went to the back and then okay, yeah.
I think did he stop him from smoking? I can't remember.
I can't
But
remember.
he used to smoke I think he stopped him from smoking. But anyway, so that's the point he made right there, saying but we saw, like he said, he did Rush Hour where he cursed for $20 million allegedly. So
I guess for 20,
I guess if he would have gave him 20,
20,
he would have
the
did it.
Most High be more forgiving.
So before the revelations about Chris, the rapper responded to someone on Twitter who shared a screenshot of an interview with Faizon Love, who said he turned down appearing in the sequel after only making $2,500 off the original. After making it clear that he didn't rob anyone, I shared the in and outs of making the movie. The 1995 Friday movie cost $2.3 million to make, shot in 20 days. Faizon worked 1 day, maybe 2. All the actors got paid scale to do the movie. He wrote on the Wednesday, December 29th. They could have simply said no, but they didn't. So miss me with that shit. He's right. And allegedly, I saw somebody say, I guess they're an inspiring actor. They was like somebody who comes in on the low end into acting, you get paid about $124 an hour. So if you don't work often, if you don't work that much, you don't get paid that much.
True.
But he was like, for Faizon to get work 1 or 2 days and get paid $2,500, he was actually overpaid.
We would have to ask how many hours did he work.
Well, like I said,
Total.
I'm pretty sure there was scenes that they shot and didn't keep in the movie, with him. So maybe he feel like I work more. He didn't. By the way, he didn't make the argument that he was ripped off or anything. He just said, I didn't get paid for that movie at the time, so I didn't say yes to the next movie. It is what it is, and I'm pretty sure he regrets that. But Faizon Love, who played Big Worm in the original movie, talked to Comedy Hype and how he said that he didn't reprise his role in the sequel because he only paid $2,500 for the original and offered double that to reprise the role. That rubbed Ice Cube the wrong way, who quote tweeted the article and said that everyone was paid to scale. So Faizon was offered $5,000 in the next movie. Now hold on, let me say this. Now maybe he's paying him based, okay, he was willing to pay Chris Tucker $12 million because Chris Tucker, by the time Friday came out, I think he already did he do Rush Hour 1 afterwards? Then
He might have done.
he might have did Rush Hour 1 at that point. So now Ice Cube like, I got to pay him more now. He's worth more. So maybe he looked at Faizon Love like, well, since Friday you ain't did nothing. So you just get double what we did in the last movie. It's not
How
like
many days he working on this?
Well, we don't know because he didn't do
Okay.
it. He didn't say yeah. If he would have said yeah, who knows what would have happened? Maybe he should have negotiated for more. Maybe he should have said, look, dude, the other movie made $27 million gross. You can give me $100,000. I think that's what Pops made $400K. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, off of next Friday.
Yeah. I think the first movie he made like $10K, $15K. And the next movie he made like $400. But Pops was established. He had the Wayne brothers and all that stuff. So nobody was paid great in that first movie. It was a 3.
He also was in the movie Boomerang.
Yeah, it was a very small budget.
Yeah.
So nobody was getting paid crazy money. It is what it is.
But Big Worm said he ain't coming back off no 5,000.
He said, Ice Cube went on to say he didn't rob nobody. Then he said, we were ready to pay Chris Tucker $10 to $12 million to the next Friday, but he turned that down for religious reasons. He didn't want to cuss or smoke weed on camera anymore. So was he really smoking weed?
I guess it was just the idea of him being Christian, whatever
Yeah.
his religion beliefs
He said
is.
he's
He didn't
Christian.
even want to put that out there.
And I can respect that. That is honorable to say, I don't want to be that character. But if I remember, if you look at the movie next Friday, they made Chris Tucker's character in the rehab. Like what happened to Smokey? Like he in rehab. So why couldn't they have just wrote him in as a person who don't smoke no more?
I think they wanted to make it seem like he went to rehab, but he either left early or he still came out smoking weed. That's what they wanted it to be.
And I feel like Faison Love was supposed to be in. I think he probably would have had a bigger role. And
then he should got paid more than $5,000 if he got a bigger role.
Hold on, I think he would have got a bigger role in Next Friday because I believe Faison Love's character was supposed to be what the Mexican people in the movie was, the drug dealers.
Proper name is Hispanics.
I believe it was supposed to be Big Worm and Debo chasing Craig. But because he didn't come back, they just threw in these random Mexican characters with this Mexican woman.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of added this side story that didn't really make sense with the point of the story.
Well, we not. What's the name of it's called? Cucaron. What's it called? So that particular area, because we not from California.
Yeah.
It might be more.
It's a wealthy area.
It's a wealthy area.
It's not a racial. It's a wealth.
Oh, okay.
So if anything, it should have been white people.
Oh, well, they did have one neighbor. No, they had an Asian.
Asian. He just added a bunch of races. An Asian lady, some Hispanics. That's it. He didn't add no white people. Yeah, you're right. Now think about it. Hold on. Only white person in Ice Cube movies was the cops.
No, not
Friday
cops.
After the Next.
One cop.
Yeah.
One cop was white, one cop
Did
was
Ice
black.
Cube have one white person in all his movies? All those Friday movies?
Yeah. Even next Friday.
Yeah, one white cop.
Yeah.
Jesus. And we didn't even know this.
No,
well,
we
he
didn't
still
know.
had Arab, Spanish, Asian. He still had those.
People of color.
But yeah, so there was a lot of people trying to go in on Ice Cube saying he was stealing from people.
I'm sorry, Big Worm was Faison was right for not coming back. If you offer me double, how many days I'm working?
Look, man, you pay what you look. We're not gonna act like Faison Love was. I mean, he was Big Worm, but
no, he wasn't big. Hold on, don't try to discredit Faison Love. Faison Love was in the show Parenthood. And I think that lasted for about 4 or 5 seasons. He was an established actor at that point. Robert Townsend created and starred in Parenthood, and he played his brother, I believe.
What is it?
So he was on a syndicated sitcom, I believe.
How big was Faison Love's character though?
His character was pretty.
No, not in the movie. In general, Faison Love
in the show.
No, Faison Love as an actor.
How big? Well, Big Worm became iconic, so his role was pretty big.
But even after Friday, how big was Faison Love's character as him? Faison Love, how famous was he after Friday?
I'm not gonna sit here and let you tear down another black man.
All right, here you go. So people was in the comment section said that after he got the gross income from Friday, he should have went back and paid people more and all that stuff. But
that's not really how
the industry
works.
Like that's not how industry works.
Is that did Tyler Perry go back and pay everybody that he?
We're gonna get a Tyler Perry ass one of these days when we start doing.
No, I'm not trying to throw Tyler Perry under the bus. What I'm saying is,
no, you can.
All those people that was doing plays with him,
I never heard anybody come out and say they didn't get paid properly with him. I can't say that. You can say
never heard that, but I'm sure somebody felt like they didn't get their worth.
You can say a lot of things about his movies, but he's never been accused of not paying people.
Yeah, low budget.
Yeah,
bad quality.
Extended scenes.
There I go, tearing down another black man.
That's what you do. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about another black man. Let's talk shit about another black man.
Oh, this black man, I don't give a fuck what nobody say.
Let me clear my throat.
Let me clear my throat.
Defense bill authorizes Catawba. What's how you say that?
Chickawa, Catawba.
Catawba? We say Catawba.
Whatever it is.
Catawba Nation to operate its casino near Charlotte. A federal bill passed in Congress last week to settle a North Carolina land dispute between 2 Native American tribes and allow North Carolina's newest casino to keep operating.
Now that's our state.
Yeah, shout out North Carolina. But here's the crazy thing that's going on with this. This bill was introduced. I'm sorry, it was a military budget bill. And Jim Clyburn made sure to introduce the bill. He had a separate bill, made sure to put it at the end of the military budget to make sure that it passed. And you go, it sure would be nice
if you could do that for
Negroes,
for American descendants of chattel slavery. It would be nice if you could do that for us, but that would be too much like right.
Then we said, I'm pleased that my bill, the Catawba Indian Nation Lands Act, was included in the NDAA President Biden signed into
And he's
law
proud
today.
of it.
Very proud. This is the first step towards rectifying the wrongs perpetuated against the Catawba Nation, Indian Nation, and I'm calling Cat, Indian Nation, in addressing the historical inequalities they face.
There's a special place for Mr. Jim. There's a special place for Mr. Clyburn in the Lake of Fire.
They call him Jim, but his name is James.
In the Lake of Fire, that's a special place for his ass. Yeah, I said what I said.
I was damn. You said the man deserved to be in a Lake of Fire.
Damn right, he was there to be in a Lake of Fire for some shit like that.
Damn.
He'd rather do something for a group of people than his own people. You damn right. We don't need you.
Well, what he did was he threw a bill at the end of the military bill to make sure that it passed.
Okay.
And but here's the crazy part: the way if you listen to how he said it, the Cat Indian Nation Lands Act, you would think, oh man, America once again stealing land from the Native Americans. No, this was a land dispute between the Cherokee and the Cat Indians.
They ain't nothing got nothing to do with us.
That's what I'm saying. So the first thing I thought of when I saw this is, oh, there was some lobbying going on. There was a battle, and the Cat Indians, they had more bread, or they had more political connections.
How much money laundering do you think that goes to these Native Americans casinos?
Bruh.
I think
Churches
a
and
whole
casinos.
bunch.
We saw what happened with what's his name down in what's his name? Osteen.
Joel Osteen
they
just
found
make a church.
They never said how much money was in that wall, but probably a couple million just in the
That
wall.
show Ozark.
Ozark, yeah.
They be telling you everything that be going on.
But yeah, there's a lot of money laundering. Casinos are the easiest place to money launder. It's so easy.
I think a lot of these Native American casinos be doing money laundering.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you bring up these casinos and black people go, man, damn, y'all got casinos. That's good money. That's easy money.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, we Indians, you hear Native Americans say, oh, we still ain't getting anything, and it's still
That's
not.
a lie.
And you go, wait, I can't help it. You got selfish Native Americans who keeping it from the rest of y'all.
As a matter of fact, the whoever got that land and they're gonna have that casino on it.
Yeah.
Whatever money they make, they have to give it a dispenser amongst the tribe members.
They have to hire the tribe members. That's why they say it's gonna create jobs. Remember?
Yeah.
We talked about something like this. That was around early this year when we talked about in California, the Native Americans were building a prison. Remember that?
Building it for
in
your
California,
ass.
saying, and their reason for building the prison, they said it would help the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It would make jobs and help the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And you go,
and put niggas in jail.
That's exactly what it would do.
But that's your friend.
And they're talking about, oh,
that's the red people.
The real red.
But they said the Chinese people said they ain't red, they yellow.
No, they said they gold.
Yep, they gold.
All right, a federal bill passed in Congress last week could settle a North Carolina land dispute. The Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians and the Cat Nation both claimed that 17 acres of land in Kings Mountain originally belonged to their tribe. But last week, Congress gave the force of law to Catawba ownership of the land. The decision came in the form of provision found in the National Defense Authorization Act that passed Congress last week. The bill funded military operations, including making improvements on three bases in North Carolina. I wonder if Fort Bragg was in there. That's a dangerous thing about Fort Bragg. If something pop off and a war start, Fort Bragg is one of the bigger bases.
It's one of the top bases.
So it's a problem. We literally grew up next to a military base.
Yeah.
Mind control. We might be on the mind control now.
No, don't tell people that because they be like, MK Ultra assets. I ain't no fucking MK Ultra asset.
We might got some shit that happened. We don't even know what happened.
I know exactly what happened.
You got hospitals right there with the military.
Mm-hmm.
We might got tracking devices already in us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but
maybe you do. I don't.
But on the 905th page of the NDAA, senators took a standalone bill addressing the land and moved it into the larger military spending bill to ensure it passed. Giving the land to the Catawbas allows for the tribe to build a casino in Kings Mountain. The North Carolina Family Police Policy Council, a nonprofit education and research foundation founded in 1991, was the stated aim of upholding Judeo-Christian values. It opposed to gambling, the nonprofit's executive director, John Rustin, called the move a dangerous precedent. In a news release published Wednesday, saying it is the first time Congress has passed a bill to create an off-reservoir tribal casino. Oh, yeah, that was a lot of money being passed. How much, allegedly, how much money touched Claiborne?
So it's not on the
Claiborne?
reservation?
Exactly. No. So wait. Well, this is land that they saying belong to them.
It don't belong to them. These some fake
$5.
$5 Indians. The Mongolo ones, they $5 Indians too. Let me.
Well, they actually,
if you ever go up, they what?
they Mongoloid, so
Yeah, they are.
they did come here in the West Coast, so they're not really fake. They did come here in the West Coast.
But we were here first.
I mean, it came. The niggas came from the South America too, up north through whatchamacallit. I'm just saying that's how it went.
This land is not theirs.
No, I'm not saying it's theirs. I'm saying
the Native Americans that are here in Seattle look nothing like the Native Americans in North Carolina.
in North Carolina they look like biracial people.
They look like mulattoes.
They look like mulatto people.
If you see a Native American person in North Carolina, you would swear up and down they were either a white person or mulatto.
The names aren't even the same. What's
you
the
got
names?
Chavez,
Yeah. Chavis.
Dow, Chavis, Locklear.
Yeah. There's one that's really popular. Locklear is the most popular one, probably.
Oxendine is very popular.
Oxendine. There's a lot of black Oxendines too.
I think that's it.
That's the main names. Yeah.
That's the main one.
Locklear, Oxendine, Chavis,
Chavez. And you hear Chavez, you think that's
Mexican.
So you think you mistake them for a mulatto, Mexican, or white.
But you hear those names, and then you go somewhere like Oklahoma and see the Native Americans in their name. It's like
it's different.
It's different names. So I don't know. They said that they Cherokee. Oh no, sorry. The people we live next to call themselves Lumbee Indians.
Yeah, they're not even recognized. They're fighting for it though.
Yeah, they're not even real recognized.
You had Lumbee. They did what there was Cherokee.
Yeah.
Then you had Blackfoot.
Yeah, the niggas just say I'm Blackfoot.
Blackfoot Indians. I've never heard anybody say they were Seminole.
No, I never heard Seminole.
Which is
Seminole.
Blackfoot Indians. And then
wait, that's a little slick what you just did there. The Blackfoot Indians, the Seminoles are the real Blackfoot.
There was another one.
Yeah, we know the tribes, but mainly it's the Lumbees who
I'm a Lumbee Indian, daddy.
Yeah,
that's how they talk.
Hey, yo, daddy.
And I'm not gonna tell you the word because we don't want our word to get out in North Carolina. We're not gonna say our little slang.
We the only ones who say it, but yeah, all right.
They say it in I think they say it in Virginia or Baltimore or Virginia might say it too. But yeah.
Yeah, it says right here, some off-reservation casinos do exist. The Bureau of Indian Affairs but let me tell you something about the name Indian Affairs. This is how I know some slick shit going on. Growing up, we grew up in not the wealthiest place, and the people would talk about going to In Your Fur.
We never knew it was Indian Affairs. So it's the same thing here in Seattle too. It's Indian Affairs.
So you had black people going to Indian Affairs and being approved for help.
Yeah, it was pretty much Section 8 housing.
So
it's here too.
So what does that say?
Well, anybody can get on it.
Who?
They have it here too in Seattle. It's
Indian Affairs, but it's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
So they ain't for them then. Why they change the name?
There are Caucasian people on
They probably lying. So there's a lot of white people saying they're Indian now. By the way, they said the population of Native Americans, we talked about this last episode, I think, or the episode before last. The population of Indians has grown, how many percent? It's 200% or something?
Damn. White people running away from whiteness.
Yeah,
because we know damn well there ain't no niggas being claimed as Native Americans.
Well, when you do that DNA test, ancestry, it's hard. You get 1% Native. It's like, I made it. They finally gave my...
I could, when I took mine, I couldn't. It was there.
Yeah, and then they almost took it.
They almost took it, but it was there. I was like, you don't got to tell me.
But here's the thing: we
know where we come from.
Yeah. So anyway, but by the way, you're talking about running from whiteness. I mean that dude Tim Pool, I guess you call him journalist.
Yeah,
was running around saying he got in an argument with a dude who was saying you don't understand a white dude. Was telling a white dude, you don't understand the plight of a black man.
Tim Pool said he's 25%
Asian,
which means he's trying to get into that.
And that power shift is happening with Asia, with China.
They're getting power.
They're just trying to
and to say, when we say Native American, we're not talking about Mongoloid Native American. We're talking about black natives.
Yeah, they are indigenous black people.
Because black people, I got Indian in my family. Yeah, you do.
You just don't know.
You just ain't got the Mongoloid. You got the black.
The Bureau of Indian Affairs has said that for such a casino to operate, it must be within community distance of the reservation, and the Secretary of Interior must find that the casino would not be detrimental to the community and would benefit the tribe. The bill is a strong win for the tribe, but isn't a deviation from where the things currently stand. The U.S. Department of Interior announced last year that if it found that the Catawba tribe stretched into 6 counties in North Carolina and placed the land in Cleveland County into the trust of them, that allowed the tribe to hold a soft opening to the Two Kings Casino in July with 500 machines in a trailer surrounded by excavated dirt just off the exit ramp in Kings Mountain. The casino was so successful the tribe expanded to 1,000 machines last week on the same day the NDAA passed Congress. So they already knew.
They don't even try to hide shit no more.
I want to know how many people, because the fact that they didn't even mention, Clyburn did not mention the Cherokee. He called it an act that fixes something that was taken away. He didn't mention, oh, this is a land dispute between 2 tribes that I'm going to help one side, because I'm being, my palm is being greased, more than likely, allegedly.
Won't do nothing for his people though.
Nada. Matter of fact, when they asked him about reparations, he said it'll never happen.
Yep, he left in that dude face.
That'll
said,
never happen.
Who gonna cut the check? you got the check. And they ain't gonna touch the man.
Yeah, he's like, get your hand off. All right.
Get your hand. Okay, then I'm gonna leave. Yeah, you better leave before you get your ass whooped, sir. Have a nice day.
Yeah, but the guy that's running against him was going. I'm gonna show his what happened in his tweet. People reacting to what he said. Look, man, I'm gonna keep saying it. At some point, it's gonna be unnecessary to have a separation. Unfortunately, we in the wilderness right now. If you read the scriptures, you know what that means.
Well, in the wilderness,
we'll see. We'll move on. Now, this is a video. We did a video on this a few months ago. Black slaves, Indian massacre. Somebody asked the question: have Native Americans ever? Somebody said that black people were oppressive to Native Americans because they mentioned the Buffalo Soldiers. How the Buffalo Soldiers, under the rulership of these white dudes in the military, they went through and did what they're supposed to do to these Native Americans to get them out of the land and all this stuff. They did this to build them, to help themselves, but they're seeing it as they were oppressing them.
when that dude said that,
but he was negligent to the fact that, or he was dismissive of the fact that Indians own slaves. Matter of fact, we did a video on it. You can go back and watch it. We did a video on it. We broke it down. And the fact that they ignored that, there was another girl that I saw on social media. She was Native American. And somebody was making the point that Native Americans, when they got that bill passed by Joe Biden to be a protected class, it was like, damn, why everybody else keep getting these bills and none of this stuff is happening for black people. And this Native American girl, allegedly Native American, she said, oh, I get the point, but y'all trying to turn this into a thing that Native Americans actually getting things. They're this and that. They're so impoverished. And a black dude said, Native Americans own slaves. She said, I never knew that. All I knew is that they helped them. Like, wait, what? How you Native American?
They helped them right. They helped them right into their damn tribe.
They were catching them and selling them back.
Yep, sure did.
So how you telling me you Native American? You didn't know that? You lying?
You know what? These people, they never know anything. They oblivious. You know. And
these are the Native Americans. The alleged Native American. That's a Native American. Oh shit. That's a Native American back then, that they say.
Peckerwood, that's what he is.
I still don't know what that means.
Peckerwood?
I don't know what Peckerwood mean. I know what a honky and all those other terms mean, but Peckerwood, I never figured that one out. I should have just looked it up. But I want to show the response that one of the defenders of Clyburn gave when someone criticized him for his not helping his people. You see here? Let me just zoom in. That's a tweet we already showed. This person said, what are you doing for the black voters in your district? And then somebody said, this guy tweeted this when I asked the same question. And this guy right here is an older black man. You see his name is Democrats Just Win, baby. He from Harlem. This is so sad. He actually from, anyway, he from Harlem too.
It's not a shock then if he from Harlem.
It is a shock. Harlem, it's a shock. He said, no Claiborne. So basically what he's saying is, if we didn't have Claiborne, this is what we wouldn't have. He said, no Claiborne, no $1.9 trillion package or rent relief.
How does that help black people?
No 42 federal judges, no infrastructure bill, no 25% increase in food stamps, no 6 million jobs, 4.2% unemployment, no flattened 401ks, broadband in rural communities, etc. Nothing like a man who sacrificed for his people community. It got worse. Look at this. He said, I felt his speech from Maryland. That's power. Don't disrespect that. You got other people who talk low but ain't saying nothing. Couldn't move a rock. Mr. Claiborne allowed us to fight another day for this democracy. Claiborne, if you see this tweet, thank you, sir.
He didn't get no likes.
And then somebody morphed into a coon, as you can see. You still didn't answer her question. If there was so much power and doesn't do anything for his own, how is this beneficial? Or are the speeches and fried fish that good?
Damn.
And then he said this. This is the worst one probably. He gave the speech heard around the world, changed dynamics of election. Congressman Clyburn is a big deal. Plus, he was part of the civil rights movement. You know, Dr. King and them, firehouses, dogs, etc. Mad love and respect for the man. Empty symbolism. Aren't you tired of that? His district's nickname is Cord of Shame. Aren't you bothered by that? This man just got tangibles for slave owners, slave catchers. This doesn't upset you. He responded, what? I won't comment on this ignorant tweet. What is your solution? Vote him out. The whole so-called black caucus needs to be voted out. Start making politicians work for our vote. Stop automatically voting for Democrats. This is where we are in America. And it shows.
Sister, ain't that the truth?
This is an emotional, empty slogan.
That's not an emotional, empty slogan, sir.
Didn't he just give an emotional reason to why he like him?
That was emotional.
But
what she was saying was very logical to do.
The response, if you
don't like somebody, you vote their ass out.
The ancestors is waiting on you, bro.
Oh, that's an infamous scene from them.
I was so scared of that.
The dolls?
Yeah. Dolls are scary as hell.
It's niggas that look like them dolls in real life.
Yeah. Somebody said something in the comment section I want to get to. Looks like, practically speaking, this is about casino. Yeah, it was about casino. That's it. Now, this is a Native American, Cherokee. We thank you, sir, regardless of tribe. The land is everything to our people.
Fuck you.
She was going at black people, too. Can you write a bill for Native black people? And she responded, they are addressing natives right now, honey.
Oh, wow. That was patronizing, wasn't it, to call her honey?
Yeah. Indigenous Indian is indisputable. That is very ancient times. The Negro race occupied our territory.
Whoa.
It is likely that we repeat America as a Negro continent. Carlos, yeah, basically we know this. We talked about this before. Yeah.
Ain't that just what I was saying 5 minutes ago?
As usual, crickets from a $5 Indian.
Damn.
That was somebody. This is a dude who's going against him, Marcel, for Congress. This is a dude can't do nothing because of the Republicans. This is how you explain this for the Indian Native Americans, but not Black Americans. And this person actually defended. It's so crazy. Thank you. You should pay. I didn't like the fact that all the black people was getting in the conversation, constantly asking these white people about, should he do something for black people? Don't ask them, because they.
No, according to Kamala Harris, no.
Look, this is Dr. Boyd Watkins. This man is an embarrassment. Not an embarrassment, but an enemy. Now, this is the one I'm looking for. This shit was funny. They should change the CBC to the CEBBC, Congressional Everybody But Black Caucus.
That's right, sir. You hit it on the nail.
That was a good one. The Congressional Everybody But Black Caucus.
That's what they seem to do.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, that accusation they put out towards those people about them being slave traders is real, or at least slave catchers. I'm going to read something real quick. All right. You see here? This is about those people, the story of them, whatever. Now, look at this. Although this practice was not, let me go back up. Where is it? Given the history, it may be surprising that the cat people in the late years of the antebellum period adopted a white practice of owning black slaves. Although this practice was not widespread, the percentage of slave-owning cat people was roughly comparable to that of the southern whites. So wait, it wasn't widespread.
But it was compared.
But you can compare it. All right.
Yeah.
John Hope Franklin, a scholar of black history, says that in 1860, only 25% of the southern whites owned slaves, and of this percentage, only 12% were large-scale owners. Though the population was thought to be 1,400 in 1715, with 400 warriors in 1743, Robert Mills claimed in 1826 the cat people did not number more than 110 people of every age. By 1841, only 81 were said still to exist anywhere. Steve Baker, in the ethno-historical study of the people, supports these statistics. If these numbers are correct, then if only very few owned black slaves, the percentage would have been similar to that of the southern whites who lived around them. So even though the number was smaller, the percentage was the same.
Wow.
So that's who he just gave some land to.
And he's proud of it.
And he's
proud of it.
What's stuff in that movie?
No, that's the Savage Robot on YouTube.
Oh yeah, no, that was a movie.
Oh.
And he's proud of it. I can't remember.
No, that's the Savage Robot.
I know, but it's also from a movie.
In the Burning the Lake of Fires from the Savage Robot.
Whatever happened to him?
They got his ass out of here. I think he came back though.
Oh, he did? All right. Next up, we're gonna go into some historical understanding of why this type of things happen. The class war is real amongst black people. I'm talking about the Boule class. They've always done stuff like this to their people. I don't think black people understand how low a lot of these black political class people think of them. How they kind of look at you as, sheep, really. You just do what we tell you. And, things will go well for you if you follow what we say.
They want to thin out the hood.
Basically. So look at this. Black eugenics. How the black misleadership class of the early 20th century supported sterilization of the black poor. Now, this was written in 2015 on the Black Agenda Report. Pretty sure a lot of y'all know who that is. This is written by Pascal Roberts. He went through and exposed a lot of the people I won't say hold in high regard, because some people we learn very quickly. I learned in teenage years that W.E. Du Bois was I don't want to say the word, but there's some people that look at him in low light. They look at him as a coon, a traitor, or they just say he boule. So a lot of his actions
were biracial. So some
people say he was boule. Most of his actions were created so that he can help a particular black people, not all. And we saw how that led to him going against people like Marcus Garvey, who has his own stuff we might get into.
Oof.
Now look at this. The black misleading class is a term usually referring to the race management elite that developed out of the civil rights movement to handle the political and social affairs of the black masses. This group tailors its worldview to the policy prescriptions, to the demands of America's majority power elite, to the detriment of those same black masses. The Congressional Black Caucus, the NAACP, the National Urban League, Black Bourgeois, membership organizations, and the Black Church all work as ideological and organizational mechanisms of the black misleadership class. That's why it's the same people in all of them. You got to have connections to get inside a lot of these things. A lot of it comes through fraternities, frats, and
mainly fraternities,
sororities. Yeah,
I would say pretty much fraternities. A lot of these people, their kids, in order to get into these college and stuff, your parent has to have gone there. So,
especially places like the main one people get from that is was it Spelman?
Spelman, Morehouse.
Yeah. Those two especially are known for that, considering they're all one gender.
Ooh, that's Boule Central.
Yeah, that's why people say when you see somebody on social media say something crazy,
and that is in Atlanta. I mean, not Atlanta, Georgia, state of Georgia.
Yeah. When you see somebody say something crazy on social media, that you go, what? Like there was a recent kind of tango on social media about the middle class blacks versus the poor blacks, or the blacks in the hood. And the middle class blacks are saying stuff like people in the hood try to make us feel guilty for being in the suburbs and say we don't have to deal with racism and how we not black enough. And it's like, who? No, most people tell you that because of probably how you carry yourself. And this topic came up because people was making an argument that I'm in the hood. Why is a person from the suburbs doing TV shows talking about the hood when they ain't grew up here?
That's true.
That's what they were saying. So, you know.
I mean, if you saying that black people get mad at you because you don't face racism, blah, 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 that means you haven't lived that experience. So why are you talking about it?
Well, no, then they went on to say that people in the suburbs experience more racism because they said we are around white people. And it's like, well, you're not dealing with policies like that, though. Niggas in the hood dealing with these type of things, and you're saying that's not that's not the same racism that you get in the suburbs. And you just go, that's why people don't fuck with you. Some of y'all, some people in the it's easy to be a black person.
Don't
in the
you call them the new blacks?
I don't call them. That's what people call them, new blacks. The people who found out about their quote unquote blackness when they went to college at 19, 18 years old, 20 years old, they find out.
And then they try to go back and re-examine everything and try to tell you.
And try to tell you why things is the way they are. And you go, motherfucker, get out my face. Just because you had this awakening don't mean I'm lost. You just got found. You found something. Please leave me alone. Don't tell me what Menace to Society stand for. Don't tell me what these old classic movies are really about. How deep they really. Get out my face, man.
Shit, brother, I'm just trying to help you out. I'm trying to give you some enlightenment, some understanding.
All right, yeah. What few realize is that even before the Voting Rights Act of 1965, there existed a black misleadership class that worked as a race managers for America's power elite. The originator of the race management was a concept was Booker T. Washington as a tool of white industrialist class, with the crew issue by W.E.B. Du Bois, published in 1903 in The Soul of Black Folk. That word folk get used so much now in certain contexts that don't make sense. Now people just use the word folk instead of people.
I never heard black folk growing up.
It was black people.
It was black, but now for the past 10 years, you've been dealing with folk.
Now, I would hear people say, "Oh no, they cool, man. They're some good folk. They good, they cool."
But it wasn't like.
But you didn't. They didn't replace people. You didn't replace people with folk. You know, usually when you use the word folk, you were talking about a particular family.
Now you heard people say them white folks.
Yeah, white folk be there.
They didn't refer to them as people. Not all the time.
They didn't refer to them as human.
Them white folk.
Them white folk be over there.
And yep, that's how it was.
But now it's them black folk. Black folk like, all right. The black college educated talented tent came together to manage the affairs of the less fortunate black masses and weaponize the idea of race management, giving birth to the first generation of black misleadership class. Now he went on in this and proved that black people were part of the eugenics push. You see right here, eugenics, the theory that people with desired traits should outbreed the less desirable, was normal part of American thinking in the early 20th century and was supported by both intellectuals and government instructions. Not surprisingly, those theories were almost always steeped in racism and used to explain the socioeconomic problems of the black community as genetic. What many don't know is that Du Bois' talented tent, who made up the first black leadership class, were often black eugenicists who believed in a selective breeding in the black population control through birth control techniques, including forced and voluntary sterilization of poor black women. These techniques would be used to purify the race of its eugenics types as a means to racial uplift. So yeah, some of our quote unquote great thinkers of the past believe that there were certain black people that shouldn't exist. They should be killed off, sterilized, and pushed over.
Yeah, Du Bois wasn't a great thinker for me.
I understand the people that they write books about and teach you in school and all that stuff. People we're supposed to hold in high regard. This is what they believe. That a lot of people
just like white people.
Yeah. And when this topic came up, I saw people talking about Marcus Garvey. He's been in a lot of discussions I've seen, and Marcus Garvey, it's been shown that he was a person who was about this back to Africa thing, and he never went to Africa. It was shown that he was born in Jamaica and died in London. He had beef with Du Bois. So you had Du Bois, the Boule, who were into this integration type thing. So we'll get rid of the ones who not fit to be a part of this community with the white people, versus Garvey, who was a separatist, but
supposed to be a separatist. Depending on what country in.
So they're both friendly with the eugenicists and the KKK and all this other stuff, because the talented tent want to purify the race, allegedly, And Marcus Garvey want to help get black people out of the country and get them to Africa, Liberia and stuff. But the part that's
himself
confusing,
didn't want to get
that's
into
the part
that.
that's crazy. He never went.
Well, they'll defend him up and down.
And Marcus Garvey was the person who said that black Americans were lazy and they were not fit and all this other stuff, and kind of talked down on them pretty heavy.
Damn, we've been called lazy for how many years?
It's been over 100 years now.
Over 100 years.
Right after slavery ended. Bow.
He was called lazy before slavery ended.
They had movies and stuff. Birth of a Nation. They would paint you as a beast, lazy, murderous, rapist. So it is what it is. But the point is that this idea of Claiborne not doing stuff to help his people is not new. Most of the thinkers and the so-called leaders back then did the same thing. And we hear about what happened during the Civil Rights era. It was like Freaknik. I've heard that from older people who were there during the Civil Rights. Someone would tell you it was like Freaknik. We would go out there and march, and at night, you would have the person you're gonna be with that night. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of interracial going on.
Talking black, sleeping white.
It was Freaknik. You had black people with black people with white people. White people with white people. It was a it is what it is. Well, it was a story. Remember that story about the actor woman, the white woman, who started hanging out with the civil rights activist and the dude, and she was accused of having an affair with him. She got pregnant, and they thought the baby was gonna be black, but the baby turned out to be white, and it vindicated her that she didn't have, quote unquote, she vindicated her that she didn't have an affair.
She just got lucky.
And you think she was scared as hell?
She was scared as hell. She was like, but yeah, Lord Jesus, please.
Throughout history, look, people are people. Ain't nothing happened. The same thing with these Black Lives Matter marches. We know what happens. Ask yourself why you see these people out these Black Lives Matter marches, and it's always mismatch. You don't see a black man with a black woman at a Black Lives Matter march. It's a white woman with a white woman with a black woman, a white woman with a black man, a white man with a black woman, a white man with it's always mismatch.
I don't see that shit. All I see is women and women out there.
Well, I'm talking about when you see men involved. It's always mismatch. Because people out there doing the same thing they've been doing. When people get up in a group and everybody think alike, and they start getting emotional about something, things pop off. Connections start getting made, and it is what it is. But anyway, let's go to the next topic. We spoke on this long enough. Oh Lord. This right here, by the way, this is really why we named this the end of an era. I think this critical race theory thing has taken the culture war in America to the next level. White people, like I said, they see their country is falling, their culture is falling,
and they're trying their best to
their
save
national pride is dead. The young people don't love this country with the same level of fervor that their ancestors had. They don't take pride in seeing statues of these generals, quote unquote, these great generals. Take them down. Yeah, they tearing them down and throwing them in water. They don't care about the flag. They're willing to step on it and set it on fire. That so-called white guilt. So basically, the white man's burden has been replaced with white guilt completely now.
Yeah.
The white people thinking they had to solve everybody's problems has turned into, oh shit, we got to fix this. and now you got the white guilt because these people are seeing all the atrocities that their forefathers did. Every day, somebody's saying, look at the TikTok, as much as all the bad stuff is on there, you still got a whole bunch of, not just black people, other people saying, look what we did. Look at all these experiments we did on these people. Look at all this crime we committed. And it's putting so much
pressure.
Yeah. Self-hatred on them, so much guilt on them that they are pretty much willing to give the country away. That's why you got people running around saying they're Indian now, or they Asian, or, I'm not just white, I'm Irish. They're not the white no more, they're Irish. But yeah. But you see here, GOP Rhode Island State Representative facing backlash after saying she lost a black friend to critical race theory. State Representative Patrica Morgan, who is white, tweeted about losing her black friend over race before suggesting teachers and politicians are dividing people over skin color and referencing critical race theory. Now, what didn't make sense in her allegation of why she lost her friend is that she's making the point that the reason why her black friend didn't want to be her friend no more is because she's white. not because of her opinion on critical race theory.
It was just because she's black.
So she's saying, "Oh, you don't want to be my friend no more because I'm white." It's like,
no,
wait,
she doesn't want you to be your friend no more because she disagrees on your stance with critical race theory.
but you would think she would understand that, but
She took it for racial thing.
because she didn't really, she thought I have pure intentions in my friendship, but you don't. Once I disagree with you, you're not my friend. You didn't have pure intentions to be my friend. That's what she's trying to make it out to be. You didn't really want to be my friend. You thought I was a white person that agree with everything you say.
Oh, she flipping it.
She's trying to flip it on it. She's trying to say, "Oh, you weren't a genuine person."
She's trying to flip it. She's trying to get her story out there for the other story to get told.
And by the way, when she said she lost a friend, she literally in the article made the point to say, or in the interview, she said she just was cold to her. So I guess she spoke to her and she kind of didn't give a lot of conversation on a particular topic. And she felt like, "Oh, I lost a friend." It's like, damn. Now she said she's going to see her again and make sure she go up and greet her. It's like, wait, you're going to see her again. All she was cold to you. Did you really lose a friend, or did she just disagree with you in that moment and didn't want to speak to you?
I believe she don't fuck with her no more.
Yeah, it's Rhode Island.
Oh, yeah.
So how many black people in Rhode Island? That was amazing in itself. When she made sure to point out she had more than one black friend in the interview. It was like,
Oh, well, you know, they always make sure that...
yeah, I'll have multiple black friends.
I don't have just one black friend. I have multiple.
So I'm just going to show you the interview.
I would need your toes to count how many I have. That's how many black friends I have.
Your little, catch a little tiger by his toe.
The debate over critical...
All right, let me show this. All right. This is Black News Channel.
Oh, they're going to start cutting down all these different damn anchors and stuff, too.
Yeah, Black News Channel about to have a lot of... We're not going to do it up. We're not going to say who we think gone. I think it's going to be the crazy one. That's all I'm going to say.
No, they ain't getting rid of her.
Oh, maybe not. But let's go ahead and see what she had to say.
The debate over critical race theory not only impacting politics and education across the country, but also apparently breaking up friendships. Rhode Island State Representative Patrica Morgan now being criticized after she tweeted that she has now had has a hostile and unpleasant relationship with a black friend. Representative Morgan going on to say that she doesn't.
She said hostile?
Yes.
And she used the word hostile.
I had a black friend. I liked her and she liked me too. But now she is hostile and unpleasant. I am sure I didn't do anything to her except be white. What? Is that what teachers and our political leaders really want for our society? Divide us because of our skin color?
Why didn't they have the black woman on here? Why they got the Rhode Island woman
Here's
on
the thing.
here?
The first thing I thought is there's no black friend. That's not real.
That's what I'm about to say. Is this shit real? This shit feel like it's fake.
This is not real. She did not have a... Now, I'm not saying she has no black friend, but she did not lose a black friend because of critical race theory.
This
How do
is
you
to
lose
make critical race theory look bad, like it's tearing away friendships and
So
stuff.
what she's trying to say in this tweet is her black friend had a discussion about critical race theory. Not the theory itself, but had a discussion about the oppression of black people and got so infuriated with that conversation, didn't want to be friends with a white person no more. Like, you know how in school, in like elementary school or middle school, whenever you learned about Roots, we watched Roots at school. I forgot what grade that was. Is that like 4th grade?
I don't remember watching Roots at school.
We watched Roots, definitely. But that day you watch Roots, and you look at the white kids in your class, you go, it kind of sets a pecking order. That's why you're supposed to teach things in certain ways. Because if you just show Roots, the black kids gonna be walking around like, damn, we just slaves. And the white kids gonna be walking around like, wow, we really had control over them.
We did a number on them.
So now it's a pecking order created in the classroom. So now the black kid gonna have a certain level of inferiority complex towards the white kid to prove, you know, hey, don't think Roots is still real.
I ain't my ancestors.
Even though your ancestors did way more than you did, way
They love
less.
saying that.
I hate when black people say that. Your
You
ancestors
disrespect
did.
your ancestors by saying that.
Your ancestors did 10 times more with way less. Just humble yourself. But yeah.
hadn't done anything to the woman except be white. She ended the post with the hashtag CRT. Now, Representative Morgan is standing by her message, and she actually joins us now to discuss the tweet and the fallout from it. Welcome to BNC, Representative Morgan. How are you on this Wednesday?
I'm well. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you as well. So we'll start with the tweet. We want to discuss a little bit more about your reason behind writing it initially and why you decided to post it.
I'm actually sad that my friend is cold towards me. I always really enjoyed her. I admire her. I think she's smart and she's funny and she's strong. She's all good things.
Now, this is how you know, once again, this is not a real person. She's smart. She's intelligent. She's funny. She's strong, the strong black woman. And then she says she's all good things. It's like, what? Everybody's not all good. So this is the fake person in her head. She's basically saying she was so perfect until she became racist towards me.
I still like her. And so I think it's sad that that critical race theory has gotten between our friendship.
How? She never really explained whether she had a conversation with the friend about the topic, or if her friend just stopped being friends with her because it exists. I don't.
It's sad. And what I was asking people in our society, is that really where you want us to go? Do you really want to separate us because of our skin color?
It's so rich hearing that from white people, considering there's a such thing as Jim Crow segregation. So now you have a situation where some black people are asking, you know what, this ain't working. We actually might need to, need to get away from these other people. And it's the Caucasians, some of them at least, that are the most, oh, we're going back to segregation now? What's going on?
Can we please?
I don't. And unfortunately, from all the Twitter storm that went on, too many people think, yeah, that's the way to go. Let's start separating ourselves according to our skin color, our race, our gender, our ethnicity. I think that's a step backwards, not forwards.
Okay, we want to make sure we understand what your take on critical race theory is. It seems to be kind of a buzzword now. Some people have different definitions. So we want to understand, when you say critical race theory, what does that mean for you?
So, you know, a lot of educators will say, well, we don't teach critical race theory in the classroom. Well, it's not a class. It's not like geometry or geography or English. But it is being woven into all of the subject matter, the books, the discussions that children are having in their classrooms now. And there's a lot of, race shaming, race blaming. I think we're using racial stereotypes in classrooms. We are allowing racial slurs.
That's the part that confuses. What do you mean racial slurs? I don't know what you mean by that. She's saying that the teacher's allowing kids to say the N-word, or she's saying they're saying racial words towards white kids. What does she mean right there?
I don't know what the fuck she's talking about.
I think most of this, once again, remember that story of that white lady who said her kid came home and said, "Mommy, am I evil?" Because allegedly the teacher was teaching critical race theory and made the little kid think that all white people are evil, so she went home.
Yeah, she was right on that part.
But I'm wondering how much of that is actually the truth. Like, come on.
Mommy, am I evil? Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
But yeah, I do think this goes nowhere. This critical race theory thing, once again, it's not about critical race theory. It's about the willingness to expose certain things to kids that they feel too early in age. They see, a lot of these people want to start the white guilt early. See, these people trying to reverse it, like, oh, we got to bring nationalism back. We got to bring country pride back.
That's gone.
National anthem need to be upheld. It's like, that's done.
That's done.
I don't know if I say majority of the country, but a lot of the country don't care about that now. Even the conservative side is getting mad with the police because of the mandates they enforcing. So the police getting less support from that side. They're like, you going through with this? Are you really for your country then?
What?
You know this is wrong.
But they have to do, that's what their country telling them to do, ain't it?
They want them to disobey what they feel is unconstitutional. And it ain't gonna happen, buddy. It's over. Let's go to the next. Oh, we already read that. And this is the part about, we are now past the woke era. The woke era started when Trump got in office. The Democrats had to, and by the way, the term woke, it belongs to black people. We use that for somebody who was awakened to truth but it's been taken and just thrown around so much by these white people.
White people use it with like woke.
They just destroyed it. It's like it means nothing now. When you woke, it's a joke now.
Well, that's what happens when they get a hold of something.
Being woke is a negative now. Being woke means you got fake knowledge. Woke used to mean, oh, you in the knowledge. You in some deep. You understand what's
The way
going on
they do
around
it, it means that, but not for us.
Now it's just intersectional feminism, sexism, mixed racism, not just against black people, but everybody. It's like this all-encompassing understanding of the world and woke.
That's what happens when they get a hold of something.
So woke used to be for black people. Understand, you in prison right now. If you're in America and you're a black man or woman, you're in prison. Navigate accordingly. But now it's changed to everything. Every social issue you could think of is a part of woke. But let me show you this. This is the death of woke. For white people, should I say. Hillary Clinton warns Democrats against far left turn before 2022 midterms. Now we saw that a person that worked with her campaign once, James Carville, what did he say after they lost Virginia? It's the stupid wokeness, the reason why we lost. The stupid wokeness. Then he brought up abolish police as one of the reasons why they lost. Well, who was abolish police for?
Black Lives Matter.
And Black Lives Matter is connected to black people. So he basically saying, get away from this black racial politics stuff because it's pushing people away from the party. We're done. We're past this woke stuff. Trump is out of office. We got to move forward to something else. So you see here, former Secretary of State and 2016 Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton appeared to single out progressive lawmakers for criticism in a recent interview, warning that an inability to get things done could cost Democrats the House and Senate in next year's midterm elections. Now, they already know they're going to lose them. So she's really setting the tone for, we already know who we're going to blame when we lose them. Even though it ain't them necessarily, it's the whole party, we're going to make sure we're pinning on these people here. I think that it's time for some careful thinking about what wins elections, and not just the deep blue districts where a Democrat and a liberal Democrat or a so-called progressive Democrat is going to win.
That was taking shots.
Yeah. Clinton told MSNBC's Willie Jice, I understand why people want to argue with their priorities. I understand why people want to argue for their priorities. That's what they believe they were elected to do. Clinton's interview with Jice was recorded earlier this month, but parts of it aired Thursday. The former senator from New York added that she's all about having vigorous debate. I think it's good, and it gives people a chance to be part of the process. But at the end of the day, it means nothing if we can't have a Congress that will get things done, and we don't have a White House that we can count on to be sane and sober and stable and productive.
So she's talking shit about Joe Biden right now.
Did she just say sane, sober, stable, and productive? Now she's trying to blame that on the progressive, but it sounds like she's talking about
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden right there. Clinton's remarks come after House progressive attacked Senator Joe Manchin, a moderate Democrat from West Virginia, over his opposition to President Biden's $2 trillion Build Back Better social spending package. When Manchin, a crucial vote in the evenly divided Senate, announced on Fox News December 19th that he could not vote for the current version of the spending package, liberal Democrats accused him of going back on his word and ignoring the need of his mountain state constituents. Progressives refused to vote on the $1.2 trillion infrastructure package unless the Senate first passed Build Back Better to keep pressure on Manchin, who was negotiating its costs and some of its provisions with the White House. So they're still pushing Manchin as this stonewall that's stopping them from doing anything they want to do.
Oh, Charlamagne asked the question, who is the president?
Exactly. They're still blaming Manchin. They got mad with Charlamagne for asking that question, but we talked about it. That was a setup. That was meant to give Kamala another sister girl moment, checking this black man who's questioning her authority and, saying that she's not doing anything for people.
It was scripted.
It's very. Here's another one. Rise of the anti-woke Democrat. Now this is the new mayor of New York, and he's a guy who's pro mandates, pro vaccine. But he said already, I'm not shutting down the economy again. So we're going to talk about that, how they're about to start winding down this pandemic now. And did I not call this?
But I still don't think they're going to wind it down.
That's the question. Did I call it? Did I call it?
Nigga, you called it, but I don't think they're going to shut down the pandemic.
I think they are. I think We're gonna get to it.
Shutting them down is still not going to help them with the 22 remit. It's not going to help them.
That's not the point. This is long term.
Okay.
They have to start winding this down now because it's getting to a point where it's useless. The last little
they can ready to usher in something bigger.
Exactly. The last little bit that ain't did what they want them to do ain't gonna do it. They can do it. Yeah. They can give them Omicron. They can give them the new thing out of Israel. You about to, the what do they call it? Jesus Christ, Flovid, influenza, COVID. That's in Israel right now. We're gonna talk about that later. But he's a guy. So now the Democrats are backing up from the woke stuff. They're backing up from the abolish police. They're now talking about being pro-police and all this other stuff. So as you can see, this article went through a couple of instances where they believe this is becoming a bigger deal. We already talked about this. The Democrats are moving away from the black vote. This is why they're pushing for these maps to get cut up to give Latinos a bigger vote.
Like in Chicago.
This is why they're ushering in the ability for people who are quote unquote illegal.
I think that's why they're also talking more about Asians too.
Exactly. They're starting to give Asians a little bit more political power. Asians don't vote. They really don't vote. They use a what they call it? Jesus Christ. They hire people to go to Congress and what's it called for them? Yeah, I forgot the word. Usher in policies for them. The Asians don't really vote because they're not a big population. So they're trying to move away from the black vote. And I hate to say it, but you're gonna see in 2022, after the midterms, they're gonna say some things that are very strong towards the black vote. They're gonna be very direct in their wording. You're gonna start seeing them pretty much ignore this word backbone of the party. They're gonna back up on that rhetoric. Watch. Matter of fact, when they use it in 2020, you saw a bunch of Latinas saying, "No, we helped win too." So people are starting to.
No, but when we went back and looked at the numbers, the numbers say that y'all vote very differently.
But I'm just saying, you're going to see a very stark change in their rhetoric after the 22, especially if they lose even worse than they think. If they do really bad in 2022, they're going to make some direct statements towards the black vote. Where we will see how that goes. Speaking of the Asians, let me go back to this. New York enacts groundbreaking law to change how Asian American populations are counted. They're going to disaggregate Asians now. So they're going to separate the Chinese from the Japanese, from the Korean. They're going to separate them now on the census. Or any type of any type of situation where they have to mark down their race. State agency in New York will now require to break down data for individual ethnic groups under the Asian American Pacific Island umbrella. A bill signed last week by Governor Kathy Hochul mandates that any state department collecting information about ethnicity or ancestry will have to use different categories for each major Asian group, including Chinese, Japanese, Filipino, Korean, Vietnamese, Indian, tell you they're Asian, Laotian, Cambodian, Bangladeshi, and Hmong communities, which the bill names. Same will be done for individual Pacific Islander groups, including Native Hawaiians, Guamanians, Chamorros, and Samoans. Civil rights organizations have advocated for such action for decades, saying there's a lack of understanding about lower-income minority Asians whose data is often lumped together with that of higher-earning groups. Now, Asian Americans in 1 year, 2021, they became minorities. Finally, they were already quote-unquote minorities by percentage. They officially became minorities this year. And they immediately got it split up. Their entire ethnicity has been broken down now. But Black Americans,
there are higher earning blacks that are foreigner that make more money too.
Look at this right here.
Nigerians.
This is a tweet I saw from this person here. Their name is I can't say that name. I don't know that name. Princess 6, I guess it's supposed to be. They showed this. You see the Hispanic Latino, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, other Hispanic or Latino. Example, Argentinian, Colombian. You can even write it in.
Spaniard?
Yeah. Then you have a whole other thing that says not Hispanic or Latino. All right. Then we got Asian. You got Asian Indian. I guess that's Indian people from India. Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, other Asian. And you can still write other ones in. Pakistani are considered Asian, by the way. Then you got Native Hawaiian, a Pacific Islander, Native Hawaiian, whatever. But look, black or African American. Ain't no separation. You just black or Native American.
Well, okay, we have to say this too.
Did we ask for this?
We didn't ask for it.
Did we? I think we did.
Well, hold on. They don't have it broken down for white people too.
Yeah, they do. You could be Irish.
They have it on the census like that.
Well, I'm not
All
gonna,
I ever
I'm not
see
gonna
is
make a point.
Caucasian or white.
I'm not gonna make a definite point. I'm gonna let you have that point. You might be right. All right.
They don't have it broken down with Swedish, German, East Europe.
I think they do have a certain white separated though. Certain Eastern European, Polish.
I've never seen it.
Polish is definitely separated.
I've never seen it.
Polish is. I bet you.
I haven't even seen the Hispanic. It's either white or Caucasian, African American or black. It normally says Hispanic, and then it'll say non-Hispanic or Asian. It is never broken down like this.
That's the point. It's changing now.
But it seems like it's changing faster for other groups.
Black people are still just black or African American.
I mean, they were asking for this, particularly ADOS, for it
4 years ago.
On the census, they said when you do the voting.
5 years ago now.
I think they did do it on the voting ballot. But they haven't made it like a staple to.
A standard, yeah.
Like they have it with these groups. Because if they did.
Ooh-wee.
I don't think they don't want it to be separated though.
I don't think so either. But I couldn't tell you. They probably got multiple reasons why.
See, that's what happens when you allow your country to be a melting pot. Now you have all this different shit. Can you imagine for black? You have Haitian, Jamaican, Nigerian,
Trinidadian,
Ghanaian,
Chilean,
Eritrean,
yeah,
Ethiopian,
all
Kenya,
African countries. There's 52 countries in Africa, if I'm not mistaken.
And then you eliminate that, you go to the islands. It's like
then you got South America,
Afro Brazil, or Jesus
Afro
Christ,
Chile and Peru.
Even with the Asians,
Nicaragua.
you see they have where you used to have to write stuff in because there's so much stuff.
So much, yeah.
See, that's what happens when you want to be a melting pot. You have all these problems.
Time to go to the next topic now. All right, next segment, or next video, should we say? Now, this next video we're gonna watch is a ex-military dude who joined the KKK as an undercover agent to, find out about law enforcement officers that may, the KKK members who are joining law enforcement. Look, we know that it happens. We know there are gangs, secret institutions, or secret societies. All this stuff is inside the police, military. We know that. They admitted a few years ago, I think it was the FBI admitted that the police force has been pretty much taken over by these so-called white supremacist groups. This is why you see these shootings happen, and people be like, why did he shoot right there? Because he has a gun and he has an ideology.
I've been saying, are they really the ones that shoot in Chicago? Every weekend, they know it's going to be a whole bunch of shootings in Chicago. It still happens. How come there's no law enforcers out there on the streets?
Well, they say it's not out there because they don't have the funds to get them out there, allegedly.
Well, Lori Lightfoot, Beetlejuice, is now asking for federal law enforcement, federal assistance to help fight crime in Chicago.
She didn't want it when Trump offered.
Nope. That's how they do. They play politics.
Instead of helping the people, you play politics. Like Nancy Pelosi when she wouldn't take this stimulus because it helped Trump. They thought it would help Trump in the election.
But had no problem with taking it with Joe Biden, and he lowered
how much? Check. Say, I'm gonna give you $2,000, then get you $1,200. But anyway, let's just get to this video.
The members of the KKK in public, they state that they're a peaceful, law-abiding organization protected by the First Amendment. However, in secret, they constantly discuss violent acts in support of their ideology. They used terms that I wouldn't use. They used terms that began with letter N. And from day one, I decided that I would never use that word, even if it created a more dangerous situation for myself.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
I don't believe you. I think you're lying.
That's the part that make you go,
I don't think we know you're lying.
yeah, okay.
So when I'm with these guys, I'm in that character. I realize that at any moment, I could hear a bang.
If you were found out during this operation recording these conversations, what do you think would happen to you?
I'd be murdered, without a doubt.
But Moore decided to take that risk anyway. By 2014, he'd become a Grand Nighthawk, or security officer in the KKK. It was then that he was approached by 3 fellow Klan.
A lot of the KKK, by the way, follow the same religious tendencies of the Germanic tribes. Call themselves the Grand Master, Grand Wizard. That's pagan ideology in Germany. The Germanic tribes used to have. So this is how you know that people don't even know. Maybe they publicly act like they don't know what they're doing. Like the sun wheel they carry around on their shields. All this stuff is pagan worship. So this is actually a form of witchcraft.
But they're supposed to be Christians.
Yeah, that's the point. They call themselves Christians, yet they actually are into pagan witchcraft.
Members who were current and former guards at a state prison. They wanted his help to murder a black inmate. One of those guards was Charles Newcomb, the exalted Cyclops of the Florida chapter. Moore alerted his FBI handlers to the plot and began making secret recordings. Eventually, the FBI staged a photo of the inmate's death.
Some people choose to continue to contribute to the problem. Some people choose to be part of the solution.
Moore met up with Newcomb at a gas station to show him the staged photo.
So I remember actually sitting here waiting for Newcomb to pull up. And I was thinking to myself, concentrate on your breathing, keep yourself under control, focus on what you have to do. Don't overthink it.
King, brother.
I do get some of the feelings hearing this video, watching this video, seeing.
Yeah, he gotta react.
He gotta react to seeing himself. Damn.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I was asked by the FBI to begin moving towards uncovering more specific law enforcement agencies. However, the public interest and the public safety issue came up with the murder plot, and that took a priority. So I know that I was on track to uncover more activity in law enforcement, but the immediate threat to the public with the murder plot was a priority, and I was only one person. There was only so much I could.
So wait, he did this, and all he did, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but he stopped one murder?
One murder.
I'm not going to say that's not a big deal. You stop someone from getting murdered allegedly. Okay.
A black man.
But you didn't uncover the possible police officers who are in the KKK? Okay. All right, so for nearly 10 years, Joseph Moore, named Moore, that's hilarious, lived in a secret double life. At times, the U.S. Army
10
veteran.
years?
10 years. He didn't find out one. Okay.
Did you watch the video all the way through before?
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing he talked about was the inmate that was staged and the killing. That's the only thing that happened in the damn 10 years?
We'll continue watching. There's only like a minute left.
Could do. Over the 10-year span of my operations, I uncovered people that were former military, current military, former law enforcement, current law enforcement, state, local, and county level,
Moore says the 3 current and former prison guards implicated in the murder plot were also actively recruiting new Klan.
Hold up. Ain't that dude Mexican?
No, he white.
Members at the prison. But Florida's Department of Corrections disputes that, telling the AP that the agency found no evidence of whiter membership or a systemic problem, and saying in a statement that, quote, any willful breach of our values or participation in illegal activity by FDC staff will result in disciplinary action up to and including dismissal and arrest.
That statement by the state is not accurate based on the facts. From where I sat with the intelligence laid out, I can tell you that none of these agencies have any control over any of it. It is more prevalent and consequential than any of them are willing to admit. If you want to know why people don't trust the police, it's because they have a relative or a friend that they witness being targeted by an extremist who happened to have a badge and a gun. And I know as a fact that this has occurred.
So did he turn those people in? Did they turn those names in and make
Did
it
it
public?
seem real to you?
It doesn't. He seems like he's acting.
It seems like he acting. This seems fake.
I stopped a murder plot of law enforcement officers.
I mean,
Yeah,
you gotta act out your own scenes. Normally, they bring somebody else in to act out the scenes,
It
sir.
seems like a little propaganda.
Everything is fake.
So apparently they got some people allegedly got a man stopped a man from getting murdered. He gave himself credit for finding out all these officers that are allegedly into this, but we didn't get no names, no proof. Maybe it is. Maybe they did release the evidence.
But he'd show his face now, and
Yes,
the KK
yeah.
member's not gonna go get his ass now.
Well, isn't they a big organization? Wouldn't they target you?
Man, come on, man.
If I got it, motherfucker. But yeah,
Come
let's
on,
move on to the
man.
next, the final, almost final topics.
Your weekly dose of damn COVID.
Yeah, weekly dose, motherfucker. CDC shortens isolation time for healthcare workers who test positive for COVID-19 as Omicron surges threatens hospital staffing. So it's not about health no more.
Well, I need to tell the employee he can bring his ass back to work.
So if you don't know, I'm pretty sure you already know, they cut down the isolation time after testing positive for COVID from 14 to 7 or from 10 to 5. The numbers keep getting mixed up. So it's 5 to 7 days now rather than 10 to 14. And
5 to 7 now?
Remember, it was, some articles are saying it was 10 days and now it's at 5. Some are saying it was 14, now it's at 7. So I'm just saying from 5 to 7 now rather than 10 to 14. And the reason why they say they're doing this is because a couple reasons. Short of staff, which it's not health. You're literally saying it's not about health, it's about staffing.
Which would mean they don't care about.
It was never that was never the point. The CDC has shortened the recommended isolation time for the health care workers who test positive for COVID-19 from 10 days to 7 days, as long as they don't have symptoms. So you have to be asymptomatic to come back to work after just 5 days.
And how many people gonna say they asymptomatic? They gonna milk that shit to the
I'm
end.
still sick. I can't make it in, boss.
I had a employee that said he had somebody in his house that had COVID,
and I can't come in. You know, I'm asymptomatic.
He was out for 10 days. Finally got a test cleared, and I said, "Well, no, it wasn't 10 days. He got a test within 2 or 3 days. He was cleared, and he said, "Oh well, I think I should probably take another test just to be safe."
And test positive, didn't he?
No,
Test is negative.
No, he wanted to take another test.
So they get the results, be off of work for a couple of days.
And this is when I was on my little vacation, and I said, "You know what? Just take the rest of the time off that they require because you just don't want to go into work."
All right. New CDC isolation and quarantine guidelines confuse some and raise questions. U.S. health officials' the decision to shorten the recommended COVID-19 isolation and quarantine period from 10 days to 5. See a while ago, the other article said 10 to 7. This is saying 10 to 5.
So they're gonna make a damn they're gonna make a little video of all these different times that they told 5 to 10, 7 to 10, and say, see, they don't know what
they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing.
Drawing criticism for some medical experts to create more confusion and fear among Americans. To the dismay of some authorities, the new guidelines allow people to leave isolation without getting tested to see if they're still infectious. 1 year ago, listen, they're saying now that if you test positive for COVID, the second, if after 5 days you are asymptomatic, you can go out, you can go back to doing what you normally do. And they tell you do not get a PCR test, because you can test positive up to 12 weeks. 3 months. You can test positive for 12 weeks after getting COVID. So that made people think like, woo, how many people test positive this year that was a false positive?
Probably have quite a few.
Well, I'm going to prove that the CDC or the FDA, the CDC has known since July about this, but they waited until December 31st. They literally already knew this in July. I'm going to show it.
So can get more people vaccinated.
That, and they sent it right now. What's the biggest complaint? Oh, we don't have enough at-home tests. We're running out.
Wow.
Biden supposed to have, what is it, 500 million he supposed to bring out? 250 million he supposed to put out, and it never came?
But
they gotta make them. They gotta make these tests. We kind of back in stores. It give us a few months.
But Trump was prepared. He ordered more than enough.
Biden said he would fix this, but okay. The guidance has raised questions about how it was crafted and why it was changed now. The middle of another wintertime spike in cases, the one driven largely by the highly contagious Omicron variant. Monday's action by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention cut in half the recommended isolation time for Americans who are infected with the coronavirus but have no symptoms. The CDC similarly shortened the amount of time people who have come in close contact with the infected person need to quarantine. The CDC has been under pressure from the public and private sector businesses, including Delta Airlines, to explore ways to shorten the isolation and quarantine time and reduce the risk of severe staffing shortages amid the Omicron surge. Thousands of airline flights have been canceled over the past few days in a mess blamed on Omicron. So Delta Airlines has been saying, look, we ain't got enough people working. They all, quote unquote, testing positive because your test is giving them positive tests. You got to shorten this time to stay out of work. So was it a health decision, a scientific decision, or a business decision?
Business. It's clear it's business.
Not all of those cases are going to be severe. In fact, many are going to be asymptomatic, CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky said Monday.
You need to go.
We want to make sure there is a mechanism by which we can safely continue to keep society functioning while following the science. So basically the economy is we got to turn this up a bit. We got to turn the economy up so that Biden can try to look good before the 2022 midterms. Now that's me adding on right there.
He's not going to look good though.
CDC, now they said apparently, according to the numbers, the economy is doing really well right now, apparently. If you look, I pay attention to the stocks and all that stuff. Apparently, the economy is doing so well right now. I said, well, they juicing the hell out of this. They print money. They print have been on run for about 8 years now, boy.
Obama turned it on.
Yeah, boy.
And never got turned off, I don't believe.
CDC officials have the guidance in keeping with the growing evidence that people with the virus are most infectious in the first few days. Louis Minsky, director of the Institute of Molecular Virology at the University of Minnesota, agreed there is scientific basis for the CDC's recommendations. When somebody gets infected, they are most likely to transmit the virus to another person, he said. It usually in either a course of the illness, which is typically a day or two before the actually develops symptoms, and then a couple of days to 3 days after that. Research, including the study published by the journal, I'm going to move down. That was one. Where is it at? Here you go. Marshall had senior pastor of the New Mount Pilgrim Church of Chicago's West Side say he is bracing for some confusion in his congregation. This is a black church. The church has been a strong advocate for testing, vaccinations, and booster shots. Hatch says the CDC's latest guidance is confusing and a little incongruous. Either we're in a surge that we need to take very seriously, or we're winding down the pandemic, and that's why we're shortening the isolation and quarantine times. He said Tuesday, they might want to give us a little more information to go with. He already said it. That's it right there. The reason why they're shortening the isolation time is they're about to wind down this pandemic now.
They're bringing in something else then.
So listen, I have a variant allegedly that's more contagious, but it's allegedly more mild. So what I do is I tell you, you can go to work, you can go back to your regular activities sooner if you get infected. The likelihood of me infecting somebody else is what? Higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that mean they're trying to do herd immunity? Without saying it? This is my guess. I'm not saying this is what they're doing. It sounds like this is what they're trying to do without doing it, without saying it out loud, because then the people who were saying it in January would be like, we were right. Why didn't you just do what we said to do, 12 months ago? So they had to play these games now. So this black pastor, I'm pretty sure it's a black pastor, I know the church is black, said, we're in the middle of a surge, or are we winding down right now the pandemic?
How can we be in the middle of a surge and we're winding down a pandemic?
That's what he's saying. Are the surge going up because of the change in policy? The change in how the guidance changes? Or are those surges non-founded? Like,
we'll never know.
No. We will know. Hold on. We'll definitely know. And we're going to show a little bit more right here. So, this right here, this is the CDC director speaking on the decision to lower the isolation time. The newly updated CDC guidelines don't require testing at the end of the isolation because the PCR test can stay positive for up to 12 weeks. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky told Good Morning America Wednesday. So we would have people in isolation for a very long time if we were relying on PCRs. So this is based off her own words, they're useless. Yeah. After the first test of positive, it's pointed to use it again.
Pretty much, that's what she's saying.
Walensky also added Tuesday news from the FDA that according to early data, rapid antigen tests may be less sensitive when it comes to the Omicron variant. They don't know if you got that one. We do know that the most sensitive test you can do is a PCR test, Walensky said. So if you have symptoms and you have a negative antigen test, we do ask you to go and get a PCR test to make sure those symptoms are not attributable to COVID. Walensky said rapid tests do work quite well, especially in places where people are being tested regularly, like at schools. They may not work as well with those they have for the Delta variant, Walensky said, but we still are encouraging their use. They don't want to admit it. They won't say it.
It's just like going around in one big circle. It's just like they say something, then they say something else. They trying to confuse the public.
Now, let me show y'all something. This, what I'm about to show you, is a lab alert from the CDC in July 21st, 2021. They said this in July. Lab alert, changes to the CDC RT-PCR for SARS-CoV-2 testing. Look, listen. After December 31st, 2021, CDC would withdraw the request for the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, for emergency use authorization of the CDC 2019 novel coronavirus real-time RT-PCR diagnostic panel. The assay first introduced in February 2020 for detection of SARS-CoV-2 only. CDC is providing this advance notice for clinical laboratories to have adequate time to select and implement one of the many FDA-authorized alternatives. They said this in July, that they were going to turn it off December 31st. They already knew. So if they said this in July, that means they knew beginning of the year. when they told you to take it in February. They knew.
Made a fool.
These people, boy.
Wicked.
Look at this right here. Israel detects first case of florona, a double infection of COVID-19 and influenza. Now, I got a theory. Now, LeBron James recently got in hot water when he posted a Spider-Man pic with the Spider-Man pointing at each other, and it said COVID, flu, common cold. And they said, what? This is reckless. Don't compare these things. Right now, there's a surge, allegedly, of COVID. We ain't heard nothing about the flu. They have 400,000 cases in a day, if I'm not mistaken, in the United States. A record. Was that all COVID? We ain't heard about the flu. But Israel said they found somebody with influenza and COVID. Florona.
Well, there was something was just trending before we started about flu and having
It's
Omicron
Florona.
at the same time.
Yeah, Florona.
Florona.
Florona. They give it crazy names too.
Somebody gonna name their kid that.
Yeah, niggas. All right, yeah, I said it. Niggas definitely gonna do it.
I ain't say niggas.
It's gonna be a black little girl named
blame
Florona.
him.
It's gonna be a black little girl somewhere named Florona.
It didn't come out of his mouth. He said it.
It's gonna be a black little girl named Florona. Or maybe a black little boy named Flamone. All right. Biden saying there is no federal solution to COVID means our patchwork response will continue. You hear what Biden said recently? Biden said, well, President Joe Biden finally decided to say the quiet part out loud. After months of carrying on about the national plan and how the need to follow guidelines and best practices, he finally threw his hands in the air and admitted it. The pandemic will end when the states sort out how to end it. This is what Biden, direct words. Look, there is no federal solutions. Biden said Monday, according to the transcript of a conversation he had with a group of governors, this gets solved at the state level. Didn't Donald Trump say, I'm going to let the states deal with it?
That's what Donald Trump said.
And they said he was wrong and he was not taking accountability, didn't want to take the
Cuomo.
Yeah. Oh, he's not been a leader. He don't want to take responsibility. But now
Cuomo
Biden,
we forgot 2 years ago, he literally was the top guy. He had a briefing every single day about COVID-19.
He was the president, they said. He was the real president.
Yep, leading those old people to their slaughter.
Nobody want to talk about it. They let him get away with the sexual assault thing. Don't mention the dead bodies.
Touching, all sorts of, he was doing all sorts of things.
So Trump said, let the states deal with it. They say he was being not a leader, selfish, didn't want to take accountability. Biden is now saying the same thing. It's a state level problem. You know why? Because they're backing up from this pandemic now. That's what's happening. They're trying to get as far away from it. They're about to move. In January, it's going to be staggering how quick they get away from it. It's going to be just, you ain't going to hear about mandates no more. You ain't going to hear about none. It's going to just poof. Watch. Watch. All the people who listen to this, come back to me when this shit start happening and say, I'm not the only person saying this. I'm not saying I'm special. I'm saying this is what's happening. They're getting away from this stuff now. This is a video of him. They show him walking away after making that statement when he said there's no federal solution on COVID and it should be solved at the state level. That looks really bad for him to be walking away with his back turned after making that statement. Now, this could be how they edited this. Trying to make him look a certain way.
Yeah, that's wrong.
It don't look good. Another thing that popped up in politics. This is the craziest story. Now, if you know politics, you know the Democrats, the liberal side. There's a very, I guess you call it infamous at this point, politician named Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. AOC. She's a Spanish chick out of New York who pushed this people of color stuff, and she's this progressive alleged. And the people
ain't no damn progressive.
She hasn't done none of the stuff she said she's gonna do. She constantly folded in office. Now, AOC caught in Miami Beach as New York City hits record high coronavirus cases. So she got blasted by these right wingers who wanted to do a gotcha to her. We saw when Don Lemon went down to Florida. Even though they talk shit about Ron DeSantis, they all traveling to Florida. They ain't got to deal with the restrictions.
They've been talking shit about that state. Yep.
AOC was caught in a picture with her boyfriend.
Maskless.
that is her boyfriend, and the dude said, "Where's AOC? Mask free." She's in Florida, mask free with her boyfriend.
That's a little vacation spot to go on to.
It's warm. It's the wintertime. She can get away from that cold
you don't
weather.
got to worry about no mask.
No. They hate the rent DeSantis, but they stay in Florida. That's just funny to me. It's so deadly. Oh, the coronavirus cases are skyrocketing. People are just dropping dead. But let me go there and spend some time there with my boyfriend. The bigger thing that came from this is her response. I've never seen a politician say something like this.
What'd she say?
When I show you, you didn't read through this. Let me show you. I've never. No, Trump came close when he accused a politician of selling ass to get a job. But this man right here said, "Cause I want to show you what he said first." He said, "It's leftists like AOC actually. If leftists like AOC actually thought mandates and masks work, they wouldn't be frolicking in free Florida. Her guy is showing his gross pale male feet in public, not at the pool or beach, with hideous sandals. 0 for 2. So he pointed out, 1, why is she in Florida if it's so bad? And 2, her boyfriend got ugly feet. I think the second part with men is a joke.
Yeah.
But look at her response to what he said. She said, if Republicans are mad they can't date me, they can just say that instead of projecting their sexual frustrations onto my boyfriend's feet. You creepy weirdos.
So you're not going to address the part of you being in Florida?
This woman literally just said, you Republicans are mad because y'all can't have sex with me. This is a sitting congresswoman just accused an entire political party of wanting to have sex with her.
I can't. You know what? AOC, you should. Why ain't take your ass down to Texas, where the people or the illegals are in cages?
Look, do you hear what I just said? She accused the level. I don't know if that's narcissism or if she's doing what you're saying, trying to just deflect.
She's deflecting.
But she said this. What politician says the other party want to have sex with me? That's why they criticize me.
They don't say anything that surprised me to come out of their mouth.
I guess you just really not surprised because you just like.
I'm not surprised.
I'm up here really fervent. Like, this is crazy. You just like, this is insane.
They just said it like this all the time.
She just said an entire political party is lusting for her. That's why they always criticize her.
MT.
So she went on to say, it's starting to get old ignoring the very obvious, strange, and deranged sexual frustration that underpin a Republican fixation on me, women, and LGBT people in general. These people clearly need therapy, won't do it, and use politics as their outlet instead. It's really weird.
So she's saying they have a sexual
she's saying
for the LGBTQ
so
too?
No, this is her way of flipping it because it sounds crazy that first tweet. You saying all these men want to have sex with you. So she flipped it and said, me, all the other women, and even the LGBT people, y'all just sexually frustrated. Trump changed the political game. This stuff gets, even the left-wing political media would be looking at her like, did you just say that? But Trump changed the game so much when he accused a female politician of selling ass. It's like
it's a free for all.
Yeah, this guy right here said, bold move. When people disagree with my policy positions or call me a hypocrite, I tell them they just want to fuck me as well.
Damn.
That's what she said.
Jesus
She
Christ.
just said, the only reason why you say my name so much is because you want to have sex with me. And the dude responded, I do not want to have sex with you. I don't want to date you, AOC.
Them teeth.
And she was like, you shouldn't have to tell me this out loud. And it's like, you just accused me out loud. Like,
yeah, he has to let it be known publicly.
Yeah, and then he was like,
what you want him to do, DM her?
I guess.
Just to say, see, he's in my DMs.
Somebody said he has a wife and 4 kids and you're saying this in public with your giant audience. Like, yeah. Let me show y'all now go back to the COVID situation. Let me show you what the CDC is saying about people getting angry at the pushback from the decision to lower the isolation time. Hold on.
I've got Cope, the affordable do-it-yourself.
Is this what following the science looks like? The lead starts right now. The head of the CDC saying this morning there were multiple factors leading to the Biden administration shortening how long folks who have tested positive for COVID have to isolate. Apparently, the decision was also about what the Biden administration thinks the public is willing to tolerate. Dr. Anthony Fauci will join us live to discuss next. Call me Vladimir Putin wants to talk with President Biden. There will be a lot on the line. Longer 10-day guideline already in place. In just moments, Dr. Anthony Fauci will join us live to discuss all of this and much more. But we're going to start with CNN's Tom Foreman, who takes a closer look now at how hospitals are preparing for a possible surge of patients as Omicron cases explode.
The White House expects to sign a contract for 500 million at-home COVID tests next week to help Americans through the pandemic blizzard sweeping the land. But another storm is engulfing the Centers for Disease Control, facing sharp questioning over new guidelines for COVID-weary Americans.
It really had a lot to do with what we thought people would be able to tolerate.
The recommendation of 5 instead of 10 isolation days for those testing positive but showing no symptoms.
So she just admitted that the reason why they made the decision they made is because they thought that's what people can tolerate.
5 days?
Not because it's actually a scientific reason, but because this is what we think people can tolerate right now.
As far as needing employees to come back to work, because people don't have a problem sitting at home for 10 damn days, 2 damn weeks not doing
got
shit.
a problem with it.
So that ain't for the people, that's for the corporations.
We're going to see that again. Just the first part of this. There we go. This is the CDC director saying this. He already got 1.3 million views on here too.
Dr. Walensky, thank you for being here with us this morning. And I want to start with the change in the CDC guidance that cuts the isolation period in half if you're asymptomatic. So how did the CDC settle on 5 days for everyone?
Good morning, Caitlin. Thanks for having me. So we looked at several areas of science here. First, the science of how much transmission happens in the period of time after you're infected. We know that the most amount of transmission occurs in those 1 to 2 days before you develop symptoms, those 2 to 3 days after you develop symptoms. And if you map that out, those 5 days account for somewhere between 85 to 90% of all transmission that occurs. So we really wanted to make sure that during those first 5 days, you were spent in isolation. That's when most of it occurs. And then there is, of course, this tail end, a period of time in those last 5 days, where we're asking you to mask. But the other things that we were looking at is the epidemiology here. We are seeing and expecting even more cases of this Omicron variant. Many of those cases are mildly symptomatic, if not asymptomatic, and especially among those who are vaccinated and unvaccinated. And then finally, the behavioral science. What will people actually do when people need to get back to work? What is it that they will actually do? And if we can get them to isolate, we do want to make sure that they're isolating in those first 5 days when they're maximally infectious.
So from what you're saying,
what she just said is, it sounds like what she just said is, we want to shorten the amount of time to isolate because we're afraid that people are going to be so in a rush to get back to work.
That's a lie. Let me
wait. They're going to be in such a rush to get back to work, they might not isolate as long as they should. So let's get it down to the pinpoint time they need to do it.
Shit, I can tell you firsthand, they don't give a fuck. Let me tell you, she said the first 2 days is the days you become isolated.
Yeah.
And she said
3 days.
The third and fourth day is another day that you become so I don't know, that didn't make no sense what she just saying. I'm just sitting here like
it's not meant to make sense.
You notice how she keeps saying the science. So when you say something, well, the science.
Everything I'm saying is fact, the science, the fact. They want you to understand that what I'm saying is always true. Even though it changes every damn week, it's always true.
They need to get her out of here.
Well, all these people are going to be gone in 2 more, 3 more years. They all going to be gone. Watch. All these people going to disappear, and they're going to move in a new batch.
If anybody bought what she sold, I don't know what to tell them.
By the way, you telling me that it's still only 61% vaccinated? Fully vaccinated, I'm sorry. I thought they said it was at 70%. Now it's back down to 62.
Maybe we done had a whole bunch of people move to the country.
Are they counting people that took Johnson & Johnson fully vaccinated?
Yeah, they qualify because you only had to get one shot.
Okay.
Oh, it sounds 10 million people that got the Johnson & Johnson vaccination.
So are they counted in this number, I wonder?
like this decision had just as much to do with business as it did with the science.
Well, so it really had a lot to do with what we thought people would be able to tolerate. We have seen relatively low rates of isolation for all of this pandemic.
She's literally saying people weren't isolating because they want to get back to work too fast.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's what she's saying. She said, "Oh, they want to get work. People weren't isolating. They want to
how
get back to
many-
work."
There's been about 4 people. Some people done got it twice. And they isolated. They had no problem staying at home.
Allegedly, according to a doctor out of Texas, no one has ever had COVID twice. That's what he said.
Well, I can tell you firsthand at work, there's been 2.
They said you might have. He said that you might have had something else and then caught COVID or caught COVID and then count something else and thought it was COVID.
No, they took the test and supposedly it said they had.
But we know 12 weeks after the PCR test would still tell you. I'm just saying.
2 people have got it back to back, and they stayed out of work, and they didn't have a problem with staying out of work.
Maybe they're trying to sell those rapid tests.
Miss me with the bullshit.
Maybe they're trying to sell those at-home rapid tests.
No, they went to a damn testing site. It wasn't.
I'm saying maybe the CDC are trying to sell those at-home rapid tests. They're gonna give them to you free, and then they're gonna need you to go get them yourself. I don't know. That's just alleged. Let me. This is Dr. Fauci speaking on it. I'm only showing this because,
wasn't he voted the sexiest man alive?
Yeah, their people are pathetic.
He never got it when he was younger, so they gave it to him. Make Fauci feel better about himself.
It's a joke. It's a mockery. They make these people celebrities, and it's like, okay. Well, this is what Fauci had to say about the situation.
The purpose of it is that given the extraordinary, unprecedented wave of infections that we are experiencing now and will certainly experience more of in the next few weeks, that there is the danger that there will be so many people who are being isolated, who are asymptomatic for the full 10 days, that you could have a major negative impact on our ability to keep society running.
The economy.
So the decision was made, although it's not completely risk-free, of saying, let's get that cut in half so that we could have 50%, namely half of the 10 days, and 50% of that time, people can actually be out with a mask in society.
Now, this is what he just said. Because there are going to be so many positive cases of COVID because of the surge, we can't have all these people out of work. So let's cut the time in half so that they can get back to work sooner. That's what he just said.
But if the Omicron
is
milder.
Yes. No,
is that why they're doing that? Because the Omicron is milder, so that's the reason why you have to only be out for 5 days now.
That's what they're gonna say it as. Oh, well, they haven't even said it as milder. They actually said, according to the judge in Texas, I believe, she said that there was a person who died of Omicron, but when they called up the hospital itself, they was like, we can't prove that this person died with Omicron in their system. We don't know if they died because of it, but we don't know the facts of the situation. So once again, Fauci, just like the other woman, made a point to say, it's business. These corporations been calling them saying, look, our workers are getting sick every 2 damn weeks with COVID, sitting out. We can't fire no more of them because we already low. And another thing we got to expose is, if you remember, they told us, and now they're trying to spread this narrative that, oh, no one ever said you can't get COVID if you take the vaccine. No one ever said that. No one ever said that you can't spread COVID if you have the vaccine. No one ever said that. Well, people went and found a compilation of them saying that very thing. This is Rachel Maddow, what she was saying back in March.
It means that instead of the vaccine being able, instead of the virus being able to hop from person to person to person to person, spreading and spreading, sickening some of them, but not all of them. And the ones that it doesn't sicken don't know they have it. And then they give it to even more people because they didn't recognize they were, right? Instead of the virus being able to hop from person to person to person, potentially mutating and becoming more virulent and drug resistant along the way. Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus.
That's not true.
The virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else. It cannot use a vaccinated person as a host to go get more people.
That was a lie. And they're going to say it, oh, the science changed. We didn't know then.
That means the vaccines will get us to the end of this.
This is what they told us. They told us in the beginning of the year.
I can't stand that broad.
If you get this vaccine, you will not get COVID.
Finally, one segment she wasn't talking about Trump.
Shit, I'm pretty sure she talked about January 6th, the next segment.
Oh, and Trump did not create the virus. I mean, the vaccine.
Now, this is another thing of them saying these lies that have now been proven.
There's been over a 20-to-1 return.
If you had put that money into an S&P 500 and reinvested the dividends, you'd come up with something like $17 billion, but you think it's $200 billion.
Here, yeah.
You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
These vaccines are highly, highly effective.
Vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick.
They're really, really good against variants.
Everyone who takes the vaccine is not just protecting themselves, but reducing their transmission to other people and allowing society to get back to normal.
Get your first shot, and when you're due for your second, get your second shot.
Our key goal is to stop the transmission, to get the immunity levels up so that you get almost no infection going on whatsoever.
When people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected.
If you're vaccinated, you're not going to be hospitalized, you're not going to be in an ICU unit, and you're not going to die. If you are fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask.
Anyone who is fully vaccinated can participate in indoor and outdoor activities, large or small, without wearing a mask or physical distancing.
But what they can't do anymore is prevent transmission.
We didn't have vaccines that block transmission. We got vaccines that help you with your health, but they only slightly reduce the transmissions. We need a new way of doing the vaccine.
The level of virus in the nasopharynx of a person who's vaccinated and infected is the same level as the level of virus in the nasopharynx of an unvaccinated person.
Reports from our international colleagues, including Israel, suggest increased risk of severe disease amongst those vaccinated early.
And if you look at Israel, which has always been a month to a month and a half ahead of us, they are seeing a waning of immunity, not only against infection, but against hospitalizations and to some extent death. A booster might actually be an essential part of the primary regimen that people should have.
The plan is for every adult to get a booster shot.
Clearly one of the best investments I've ever been involved in.
I bet you it is for you.
There are companies that have made the first positive revenue they've made in their company's history because of these vaccines.
Why do you have a person that ran a damn Microsoft company?
He didn't finish college. He's not a medical advisor. None of this stuff. He's not qualified for this. And
telling you about a damn vaccine.
He can get on here and say all kind of lies, but if I say something that goes against the CDC, I get blocked.
And you two ready too. They ready for your ass to slip.
Hold on. Now, this next part will get a little sticky. I'm going to post this in the comments. In the description, because I'm not sure. All I'm going to say is, shell game, ? There remains no FDA-approved COVID vaccine in the United States. Is Pfizer using children as legal human shields to get full authorization? Now, this allegation is because he believes in American law, if a company can get approval for children 5 and up to get a vaccine, then it becomes they become protected against the rest of the population. So you can't sue them. If I get approved for children, then the adults can't do nothing to me if something happened to them. Now, we talked about the fact that there are two Pfizer vaccines legally. There's Community and the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. They are separate legally, but the way they twisted it was they said, well, they're the same as far as what's in it. We use the same resources in it, but it's separate legally, which makes no sense because if it's the same thing, why wouldn't they just approve this one? And so they made the excuse of the reason why we have to use the Pfizer BioNTech on people is because we don't want to have to ship them back to warehouses and have a new name put on them and then sent back out. Which, once again, if they're legally different, there's no way in hell you would use them interchangeably if they're legally different. That you can't do that. You give me a product you give me two different products. It's like me going to Coca-Cola and wanting a Sprite. I mean, wanting a Pepsi. You give me a Coke. You just can't do that. But yeah, I'm not gonna put the article up. I'm just gonna put it in the description if you're interested in hearing what he had to say. Now here's another one. Now we can actually show this one. The FDA wants to hide pre-licensure data until you're dead, and now the CDC wants you to hide the post-licensure data, safety data. Now we know that the FDA wants to wait until 75 years, if I'm not mistaken. 75 years before they show the data, the information they have to approve the vaccine. They want to wait 75 years to release that data. I think they said something like a couple 100 pages a month.
Yeah, we talked about that in other videos.
Yeah, we talked about that. Well, now the CDC don't want to show you the post-licensure data. The CDC is saying the dude tried, he filed for a Freedom of Information Act. He filed one for the data. And they said, no, we haven't, what's the word he used? Hold on. They said, we haven't de-identified the information yet. We can't give it to you. So he sent another one, making sure that he asks plainly for the de-identified data only. And they denied the request. So, yeah. But we're not supposed to be suspicious of this. We're supposed to just
you
trust.
should be very suspicious if you're asking for information and they're not willing to give it to you.
Yeah, I'm not going to read the whole thing. He has the data. I'm going to put it in the description. But the point is, they don't want you to get the information. This is supposed to be public. When you ask for this freedom of information, you're supposed to get this.
Not according to them. They get to reject and say, no, we're not giving this out.
That's crazy.
Because there's something
nobody wants you to know.
And we're going to leave it at that.
There was a little bit of backlash that Anderson Cooper got in an interview he did back in August with Bill Gates. Well, he asked Bill Gates the question. He said, should they take Social Security away from people who are unvaccinated?
They've been trying to get those old people Social Security.
They've been trying to get it forever.
They trying to get rid of these old people so they don't have to pay them Social Security.
They've been trying to get rid of it. They've been trying to get it since the 70s, 80s.
That's why they like 75 plus years will give the information. Hell, most of them ain't going to be here.
Exactly. Let me show you what he asked Bill Gates. And his response, now they said fact check. They said that he did not, Anderson Cooper did not ask for this. He did not say we should take away Social Security from people who are not vaccinated. Let me make sure I clarify that. That's the last fact check. But this is another example of you didn't see what you thought you saw. Because every time you see this shit and then you say something,
you didn't hear what you thought you heard.
Yeah, you didn't see or hear what you thought you saw and heard. So let me show you what he said.
Do you think the federal government or state governments or the very least federal government should mandate if you want to get on an airplane, you have to be vaccinated. If you want to get Social Security, you need to be vaccinated. If you want to get whatever.
Look at Bill Gates laughing at the idea of it.
Whatever benefits they give, you need to be vaccinated for. Is that something that the U.S. can and should do?
Now he's reporting this question to him in a frame of are these things that we should do? He may not be saying these are things I want, but the fact that he's putting it out, no one is talking about this. He's asking these questions because he's throwing it out there.
I'm hearing you should do these things so that these people
take the vaccine. But you didn't hear that.
Yeah.
He was just asking the question. All right. And this is the last thing on COVID. I just want to show this right quick. The last thing on COVID. Now, there's a lot of things that were called conspiracy theory that now can't be called that. You see this chart here? Somebody posted this. It said, vaccinated can spread COVID. If it's called a conspiracy theory, now it's true. Vaccinated are susceptible to new variants and reinfection. If it's called a conspiracy theory, now it's true. COVID vaccines can cause, I'm not even going to say that, third and fourth shot was considered a conspiracy theory. Now it's true. New shots every year, half a year. They saying that it wanes every, 6 months? It was called a conspiracy theory. Now it's true. Now you can go through these yourself. So now we heard about that microchip. That's all I'm going to say.
This nigga, bro, trying to be real slick.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, we talked about Jake Tapper earlier. You know his producer got caught doing pedo stuff again. So that's Kumo's producer, Jake Tapper's producer, and then somebody else that worked as a producer or somebody who worked for CNN. All got caught in pedophilic situations.
Can't leave them pokies alone.
But the crazy part is when people expose this, obviously the right wing, it shouldn't even be based off party. You would think it would not be political.
But
the
they
right
always make it political.
Somehow. So the right wing was saying, look at all these pedophiles at CNN. And I guess you would call them the liberals. I don't even know if I call them liberal because it's not even Democrat liberal. It's just anti the other side. They were saying, well, what about the sexual harassment cases at Fox? And you go, are you going to gloss over the pedophiles? You going to act like they don't? Really?
Yeah, that's what they tend to do. Act like they don't exist.
Now, this is crazy. How are you going to ignore? All right. So breaking per CNN, head of strategic comms, Rick Salaby, producer for Jack Tapper, has resigned from CNN following Project Veritas reporting of horrific text messages and FaceTime calls alleging sexual fantasies and potential misconduct with underage girls. Damn, that James O'Keefe dude, he on they ass, boy. You know they kicked down his door because he had allegedly had possession at one point of Joe Biden's daughter's diary. That's him.
Oh, okay.
So James O'Keefe is the same guy. And he's also the one who just exposed CNN's.
He be doing interviews with people too.
Yeah, this dude James O'Keefe. I'm waiting to see what he is because he might be. We think he's like some not vigilante, but some hardcore investigative journalist. He might just be another, CIA operative, FBI operative.
Got a couple pedos in his.
So he's used as a opposing side to break down. So because people are saying this stuff exists. So you got to give people something, so. But I just find that crazy how the CNN got all these problems with these pedophiles now. Or it's not really now. It's been going on for a while. I think we're going to skip this. We're not going to talk about this. You know what? That's it for that. This is it on this episode. This was probably going to be a pretty long one like we always say. This is the first episode.
Where's the Gilbert Arenas?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
How the fuck you forget about the Gilbert Arenas?
I'm so sorry. How dare I forget about this shit? Sorry, Kwame. You I fuck with Kwame, but Gilbert Arenas and Kwame Brown been going at it.
And Carcino. Carcino gonna get his ass whooped.
Well, yeah, that video we just saw him, and we're not saying that we actually want to think he should get his ass whooped. It's just like stuff he doing could
get his ass whooped.
But Gilbert Arenas left a comment on Instagram, and Trevor told me I shouldn't have showed him this when I did. He only read half of it. Look, I like Kwame. I think he's all right, but this was funny as hell. I'm gonna read some. I'm gonna read this. I'm sorry. I gotta. So he responded to Kwame Brown. Quan Lowe's Kwame Brown. He said, I have 54 minutes of who you were as a wizard. Nothing but truth supported by facts and articles. So let's not do this anymore, okay? Bruh, you were booed in every city you played for. How you gonna win an internet battle with me? Them fans nicknamed you Boo Boo Brown because you played like some shit and you wanted smoke with me? Not 1 minute of this video is about you off the court. Just your whole ass tendencies on the court. Gil can tell you not to use a smoke machine to call. Gil, can you tell them not to use a smoke machine to call our names? It's messing with my vision and breathing. Facts. I'm sorry, this is funny. You gotta be honest. Telling his followers he's an alpha male, more like a gremlin, nigga came with so many instructions when it came to hooping. Don't pass me the ball to me first 3 plays. Gotta warm up. Can we start the layup line on the left side because the lights on the right hurt my eyeballs? Can you switch shorts with me? The game you're 52 and you're 54. I'm a little faster than 54.
Yeah, it don't matter if you're 50 or 54. You're going to move the same way.
Hey, Gil, coach wants me to play Chris Bosh straight up. Can you tell him we might need a double team? He'll listen to you. Call me an alpha male is mindset, not physical attributes. An alpha wouldn't be on the internet complaining how everyone treated him and blaming people for how his career didn't go the way it should have. An alpha male isn't a victim. They create victims. Guess your mama cooking wasn't missing a few male. Guess your mama's cooking was missing a few male ingredients, boy. Everybody go to Basketball Reference. Type in Kwame Brown. Under his name, at the top you will see the nickname Coffee, as in John Coffey, that big soft ass niggas from Green Mile. I haven't went there. If I go there, I'm sorry. If I go there and see Coffee, yo, that means the players called him Coffee.
Where's it at again?
Basketball Reference, a website we can look up information on every NBA player. Look, y'all, I'm sorry. If the players called him Coffee in reference to the dude from Green Mile, saying he was a big soft dude.
Look it up.
No, I can't. I can't do it to him. I fuck with Kwame. I can't do that.
It's nothing against Mr.
I know.
Kwame
I'm not.
Brown.
I have no dog in the fight. I like Gilbert Arenas. Think he's funny.
I don't really fuck with Gilbert.
Why you don't fuck with Gilbert?
Or got issues.
Well, this is what he said. Everybody go to Basketball River. We saw that. John Coffey, that big ass soft nigga from Green Mile. His NBA nickname was basically Beta. This is a lose-lose for you, Mr. Brown. I don't want to post a video, so do what you normally do when I give you orders. Just walk away, you beta boy. P.S. Emma Rose is having her annual slut walk this summer. Going out there with your little sign, bust life, male hoes, have feelings too. Black boy magic. This post is just a warning shot. You keep fucking with me, this video will be posted and it's worse. I want violence. The old Gil is back.
Is he bipolar?
Gilbert is a little mental, yeah.
Because a couple months ago, back when all this shit was going on, he wanted no smoke.
Yeah, when he going against Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, he was like, "Hey, man, I saw Kwame beat 10 people at once. I'm good." But I think he was just, But now it's like I think allegedly, because I didn't watch this, they said Kwame Brown was referring to Gilbert Arenas and called him. He do call him a clown, saying he bring guns to the locker room, how he ignorant and stupid and all that stuff. So maybe he finally decided to say something. I think he might have called Kwame. I think he called Gilbert Arenas a beta male or something like that, and Gilbert wouldn't have it no more, I guess. I don't know. But this shit was fire. I'm sorry.
He should have not. You should have waited to read that when this thing, because I was taken off guard. I can't reenact the scene, but it was. I could barely get through the damn sentence without laughing. It was funny.
Yeah, man. Hey, like I said, I ain't got no dog in that little war they got going on. Kwame got another back and forth he's dealing with, so
yeah. Hopefully, they could talk behind the scenes and
get things done. Yeah, hopefully so. But then again, I don't know if after that situation he'll be able to say something. But he did. I mean, we saw with Black Authority. We thought, and then
I ain't gonna say nothing about that.
We thought, and then whoosh, just kind of.
I ain't gonna say nothing about that. I don't get involved in
internet beefs. Yeah, I agree.
So hopefully, by the time this video get out, it'll be 2022.
Yeah, this is the last episode of 2021 and first episode of 2022.
So yeah, I hope next year is a better year.
We're definitely gonna have a big change to the channel. Lot.
I feel like next year is gonna be
worse. I think it's gonna be different from this year, but I ain't gonna say it's gonna be better. But I think they're gonna change up some things starting immediately. Big changes. But yeah, man. I don't really celebrate these holidays. This isn't really New Year's. New Year's is actually in the spring, but you know, America these Western countries like to celebrate death. So it's not New Year's. New Year's is in the spring, but whatever. So to anybody who celebrated, Happy New Year's to you. Y'all probably getting drunk, and busted right now. You're gonna have your kisses tonight. You wake up in a couple days, finally getting over your hangover and watch the video maybe. We really appreciate the support. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. And I'm gonna go out with one video that I want to show from a movie called Snow in the Bluff. Because I like what he said in the video. But other than that, man, y'all be safe. All praise to the Most High. And peace, man.
Still staying alive, still taking care of children or whatever. Still scrap. We just steal. Shit still sick, we still here, just still alive, still smoke, still.